With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is Hikaleo.
I am ELP.
And this is Keeping It Strong Style.
We love you.
Mwah.
Yo, this is Rich Latta from One Nation Radio. This is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network. We present to you the Ace of Podcasts, Keeping It Strong Style. Let's go. It's the Ace of Podcasts, Keeping It Strong Style. Covering New Japan, they ready to hold it down. Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Josh. Come and hit a job out and bury all the frauds. From the Tokyo Dome over to the G1. Social Suplex is the network where we can get it done. I'ma chill and let them have it, cause this is just an intro. Keeping the strong style, 6 stars from the get-go, boy. Yeah, from Tampa Bay to the Tokyo Dome, this is Keeping It Strong Style with your hosts, Jeremy Donovan and the young boy Joshua Smith. And thank you for listening.
Welcome to Keeping It Strong Style, the Ace of Podcasts on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Jeremy Donovan here with the young boy Josh Smith. On today's show, we'll review the finals of World Tag League and cover all this news in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Please support our show by subscribing and following the Social Suplex Podcast Network and Keeping a Strong Style on the podcast app of your choice and leaving a rating and review. You can also get all the network's podcasts over at socialsuplex.com. If you enjoy this podcast, please consider making a one-time or monthly donation by visiting socialsuplex.com/donate and click on the donate button under the Keeping It Strong Style logo. And we are streaming live right now on patreon.com/KI Strong Style for IWGP subscribers. If you want to watch our show live or listen without ads, you can sign up at patreon.com/KI Strong Style. Young boy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I feel like this is the first year in many years where we did an FOH. I can't say I'm proud of everything that I said on that show, but I am not living with the overwhelming guilt and humiliation that typically comes along for me with an FOH. And I'm definitely tired, but I'm not like 2 days later, like still feeling the after effects of FOH. I'm just tired because I'm tired in general. This is your everyday average normal levels of exhaustion, not the added compounded exhaustion that typically comes with an FOH. So all in all, I don't know if that's a selling point. I don't know if that means like, hey, you guys need to go listen to this because I was less belligerent than I typically am. Or if it's like, hey, I was a little bit more eloquent and able to control myself. So I don't know, growth.
Yeah, but we did record FOH this past weekend. For the first time, we did it live. So that was a new addition this year, a live stream tier. So people were able to pay to get in on the live stream. And that was a lot of fun, having some live interaction. We had the cameras going. We had a hard cam. We had some other cams on the side. And so, yeah, I thought it could really add to the experience.
It was certainly a learning experience. At one point, I realized, I was like, man, we are all drunk and nobody is reading these comments. Like there'd be large swaths of time where we just didn't interact. And I was like, man, we're going to have to get better at this next year. But it was great to have. Oh, and another thing was like, I'd be in the middle of like saying shit. And as typically happens, we'll be going on a rant and you're too drunk to remember everything you're trying to say. So you're just forgetting shit. And then people are in the comments, they're like, it was IWA Mid-South, jackass. It's like, I guess this is somewhat helpful. It's also a little humbling, but yeah, it was really great. I do think it was a bit of a learning experience. It was different. There's a different kind of pressure on, at least I felt a different kind of pressure when I'm like, oh shit, the camera, like this is live. Like they're watching us do this in real time. It's not the same. Plus, bro, we were, we booked, well, I had booked a Verbo for us because, we're just too loud and belligerent, and the places where we've recorded in the past have kind of, we've worn out our welcome. So it's finally like, all right, we're going to have to get an actual spot. So I booked through Verbo, but I didn't in the commercials, there was like Verbo, it's your own place. The homeowners aren't going to be there, blah, blah, blah. It's not like, like Airbnb where you can be like hosted in a room or whatever and share the spot with people. It's not like that. So I was like, all right, Verbo is the way to go. We need our own place. Little did I know, it's a guest house literally attached by, wall to wall with the homeowner's home. And I was like, fuck. And there's times where Rich was like, he's like screaming. I'm like, bro, I don't want to get in trouble financially. But nobody said anything. So luckily we came out unscathed to the best of my knowledge, unless like there's I don't know. I haven't checked my Verbo app. Maybe there's some nasty comments or whatever complaints, but I haven't seen it. So I think we're good.
Yeah, I think we should be good. And yeah, so as usual, so if you weren't a part of the live stream, we will be dropping the audio version. So that will be up just like every year. It's a pay what you want model. Suggested donation or payment $5 for that. And we are going to put up the video on demand. So the replay of the live stream, that will be up. I think we're doing that one $15 minimum or higher if you want on that. So that will be up, I think, probably later this week. So you can get in on that. And yeah.
Shit, I'll take $10. I don't care.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It'll be up. But yeah, I mean, the video on demand will be good, but I think there was a totally different experience watching it live. And the people who watched it live got to give us topics for the lightning round. So we had people dropping in all kind of comments for the lightning round and being able to engage that way. And so, yeah, so definitely next year you're going to want to jump in on the live version of the show.
You still might want the video. Like Rich was up in the fucking
camera. The video on demand is definitely worth it. You just can't comment in real time. Yeah, Rich was up in the camera. I felt like I was cutting promo sometimes looking at the camera. So yeah, the video definitely added a whole nother element to it this year.
We need to set it up some way next year where it's like, I don't know. You know, like how when you're doing like video streams and it like centers in on the person that's talking, we need to like get it to do that shit. So it's like almost like we got a cameraman, but we don't.
Yeah.
Automate this shit.
Yeah, we'll work on that for next year.
Also, my wife, she purchased me this green hoodie that I'm wearing. You can't see it unless you're on the audio or on the video, but she bought this for me to keep me warm in Japan. Obviously, it's not that cold out right now, but it's very comfortable, so I'm wearing it. She likes to open, bro, my family, we don't open fucking Christmas gifts before Christmas. Like that shit sucks. But like, but she likes to, so it's like, all right, well, I already got my Christmas present, so whatever. But it is mad comfortable, and because of the green, I feel like I'm from like Lord of the Rings. Like I'm on my way to like Mordor or the Shires, you know?
Yeah, but that'll be a good gift for Japan because it will be pretty cold there. Fraser was sending me some of the snow pictures that we'll be encountering while we're there, making sure we have good shoes and stuff. But speaking of Japan, like we mentioned last week, the fan meetup, our podcasting summit, is happening day of Wrestle Kingdom, January 4th, 12 p.m. at the Hub Pub. It's a 3-minute walk from the Tokyo Dome. And again, like we talked about last week, it's not super formal. Don't, show up there with trying to translate saying, I'm here to see, Keepin It Strong Style, Super J Cast, We Work Stiff, Speaking of Strong Style. Like, no, just show up. We'll be there. Grab a seat. We'll share drinks. We'll laugh. We'll eat, and we'll get hyped for Wrestle Kingdom.
We still have the Podcasting Summit 26 shirts available. You can get those in the show notes. There's a link to the TeePublic store. You may notice that there was an alteration made to the design where there used to be a lion mark, which I don't know. I don't know why I didn't think of the idea that like maybe we shouldn't have lion marks on shit.
Yeah, like I didn't even really think. Like I saw it, and then we started selling it, and I was like, maybe I don't know about this. And then next thing you know, yeah,
I didn't even think about it. Luckily, we didn't sell. We sold an amount, but not a good amount. I mean, we're basically made no. Also, just for anyone who's listening, we are donating all of the $21 and change that we've made from our. It'll be going to a charity of Stiff Josh's choice, unless he chooses a charity that I don't like. Then fuck that. Then it's gonna go to a real charity. No, I'm just playing. But we have updated the design, and there is now a really incredible logo involving Hiroshi Tanahashi hitting one last high fly flow over the Tokyo Dome. So might have even improved the design, but you can still get that if you're planning to receive that before the Tokyo Dome. You probably want to order that this week ASAP. But yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you guys there. Anybody who has, so here's the deal. Me and Jeremy, we're flying in January 1st early. I think we still might try to buzz over for the Noah show at 3. Might get there late. We'll see. But we're staying in Fukushima. The first and second night that we're there, we got a private ryokan. However, we're trying to kind of decide what shows we want to attend between the 1st and the 5th. And we don't follow that many other promotions.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of shows. If anybody has insights as to which of those shows might be worthwhile to attend, hit your boys up and let us know. Cause we are kind of like, we want to go to Corkin for sure. But I'm seeing some other shit in like Shinjuku Face and different places like that. There's some companies I know, obviously the big ones, DDT, Noah, All Japan, Stardom, Choco Pro. But there's other like, or even the Big Japan show. I think we might go to that Big Japan show. We'll see in Corkin on what is that, the 2nd?
Yeah.
Thinking about that one. But overall, you guys got ideas. Let us know what shows may or may not be worthwhile. Also, I don't know if you added to the news, Jeremy, about the fan event that's taking place on the 3rd.
Yeah, I did, but we can talk about it now. So yeah, there is going to be New Japan's holding like their fan event / press conference on the 3rd. I believe that starts around 3:00 in the afternoon, and that the doors will open for the press conference like at 3:10. And the press conference will start at 4:20 p.m. And so we will be at the press conference, got our press credentials lined up. So we'll be there at that venue around there. So that'll be another time people want to come hang out. We'll be there. And who knows, maybe depending on the timing and stuff, we can catch a show afterwards.
We're going to be there for a few days after Wrestle Kingdom too. 5th, 6th. I think Jeremy's leaving the 7th, something like that. So let us know what you guys want to do. We're out there, so.
Yeah. And last thing, our year-end awards, we're still finalizing that. So be on the lookout for the ballot for that coming out soon.
I think we have basically, we could do a little on-air meeting here, Jeremy. So like I worked pretty hard on the news and the story of the news story of the year and the in-ring, what is it called? The angle of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So you just kind of need to take a look at that shit and cut it down to what you think is the best. And then I'll just pretty much go with the flow.
Okay.
But I feel like the two things that you and I are probably going to need to like sit down and work on is Strong Style, the fight of the year and the wrestler of the year. You have a good list for that. I had some questions about it, but I think I think those are the only 4 we have left. Everything else is pretty much like nailed down, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think we're a pretty good spot. Yeah, once we just nail down those final few categories, yeah, we'll be good. and we'll get the ballot out for that, and yeah, get you guys voting on that.
Fight of the Year was tough. I started trying to work on that on my own. I was like, I'm gonna need some help.
Yeah, I feel like that out of all the categories, that's one where we definitely need to like keep track of it throughout the year. Because I'm like trying to remember, like, all right, which one of these were like crazy fights, hard hitting, and it's hard to remember at this point of the year, like what were like, unless it was like obviously a match of the year contender. But sometimes you have those 4-star matches that are like great fights. They might not be like match of the year, but they're still great.
I only care about how violent the match is, to be honest with you. Like the violence, the realism, the fighting spirit, that's what I care about the most. So we'll take a look. We'll talk about it, but we are very close to having those done. And then Jeremy's obviously just going to have to put together an entire document and submit it to everybody.
Yeah.
Which is, I couldn't do it. So hats off to Jeremy.
Well, let's jump into our World Tag League review. So last week we left off on night 13. A block was finalized, and then we're going into the final B block night. So that takes us to night 14. This was last Tuesday, December 9th, and I'll just jump into the Tag League matches. So we had ELP and Tanahashi defeating Ren, Narita, and Sonata. So this brought ELP and Tanahashi up to 6, and this killed the chances of Narita and Sonata getting to 8 and getting some kind of wacky, multi-man tie to get into the semifinals. So they ended at 6 as well. Then we had Oiwa and Sabre defeating Monster Sauce, so that put them up to 8 and strengthened their chances of making it through. And then semi-main event, we had Finlay and Hiromu playing spoiler to United Empire, Cal Newman and Great Okan, which United Empire controlled their own destiny and could have advanced had they defeated Finlay and Hiromu, but it was a Hiromu pinning Callum Newman, hitting that the time bomb Q to pin Callum Newman there. And then the main event was the Knockout Brothers defeating Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura to advance, ending at 8, leaving Shota and Uemura ending at 8. So Knockout Brothers with a tiebreaker there. So you had TMDK and Knockout Brothers advancing, and kind of the complete opposite of what we were saying last week.
Yeah, when the evening started, right, and Tanahashi and ELP won, I was like, all right, we're right on track with exactly what we predicted last week, or the day before. So I was like, I'm starting to feel pretty proud about what we have projected. I think it's going to play out that way. And then we found out that the second match was in fact the match with TMDK and Monster Sauce, and that was one where we were iffy. We're like, that's either going to go on semi or it's going to go on third from the top. And that was also a really interesting one, because it seems like Alex Zane has gotten injured down the tail end of this tour. Like, he didn't enter the ring for this match. He didn't take a bump on the preview tag the following night. He did come out in gear for all of those evenings, but his whole neck and back was taped up. And this match only went like 2 minutes. But TMDK picks up the kind of flash win over Lance Archer. And I was like, all right, we're off to the races. This is exactly. And as soon as that happened, I was like, oh shit, Finlay and Hiromu are going to upset United Empire. So it's great. Like, we have accurately predicted this whole thing. And then the finals came, and Shota Umino and Yuya Uemura shit the bed. And really, for that one, it was such a tough call, because it came down to one of two things. Either you're like, all right, these two established Reiwa guys, Umino and Uemura, who people are looking for them to get elevated to the next level, they either need to win the whole tournament, which they were our pick, both of our pick to win the entire thing at this point, and they got eliminated. But if they had gone through, it would have been at the expense of Knockout Brothers basically ending the tournament with a losing record. And maybe that should have been the key giveaway, is realizing that if they take this loss, they're basically ending with a diminished record. I also think that you and I have probably become somewhat accustomed to some of Gato's isms. Like, it's in the past, it's been very common that, like, They used this tournament to set up multiple pinfalls to potentially do like a multi-man match going into the Dome. Last year, they, got away from that formula and did something entirely different and took the IWGP tag team titles off of the 1-4 show. And then, basically had all of the way that the finals finished last year. They had that play out in a very different formula than what we're used to. Same thing is happening here. And I don't know that we were thinking so much outside of the box about, or at least I know I wasn't, when it came to kind of analyzing how I felt like things would play out. And it became very clear when the blocks played out that we tend to do pretty good here on this show, but like when it came to these two tag leagues, both tag leagues, we were fucking wrong. Like so bad.
Yeah, we did predict TMDK being one of the teams that would go through. But yeah, then coming down, we did not accurately predict Knockout Brothers going through. And, I did realize like Knockout Brothers would have a losing record, but I just figured it's their first World Tag League. They are the champions. Like they could just eat some losses, build some challengers for them after this, and then just kind of go from there. And kind of like you were saying too, normally, you're expecting some kind of multi-man match at the Dome, and spoiler alert, there is going to be no tag team title match at the Dome. It's going to be at New Year's Dash, which we'll get to more of that later.
Well, that's not true. There's going to be a never open weight 6-man tag team gauntlet tag team title match.
Right. I bet
no different titles.
No heavyweight tag team title match. So I think the whole what we're used to kind of went out the window. Also, you mentioned it last year, they had Hiromu and Naito just face each other and then eventually went on to challenge for the titles. And so it seems like slowly Gato is kind of getting away from some of those traditional formulas that we're used to. And so, Knockout Brothers winning here and advancing in a pretty solid main event and getting them through to the semifinals.
What's even more damning is like last week I was talking about how I felt like TMDK, they're pretty much the MVPs work rate wise of this entire tournament. But this company just, Gato, he just doesn't seem to see him in that way. He doesn't seem he's not ready to go all the way with these guys, yada, yada, yada. Oh my God, egg on my face. But with all that being said, the Finlay and Hiromu United Empire match really, really over-delivered and is the start to one of the first true, blood feuds that you could probably point to going into the new year, kind of kicking off the culmination of whatever this United Empire developing story is going to be. So that's very interesting because we're seeing that kind of being one of the only other major talking points coming out of the tail end of this tour is really what's being birthed out of the United Empire versus unaffiliated War Dogs kind of feud. And it kind of, played itself out here or at least, kicked off here.
Yeah. So that takes us to night 15, Wednesday, December 10th. We had, this was the night where we had a semifinal match. So we had the TMDK team of Oiwa and Zack Sabre Jr. defeating the Bishamon team of Goto and Yoshihashi.
I think that one's important. I think the other thing that's also important to discuss, though, on the undercard, the semi-main event, we had a very interesting 10-man tag team match that was comprised of all Bullet Club War Dogs and all unaffiliated members, but not in that way. It was a mishmash of those two teams thrown together and, kind of served as a de facto preview for Knockout Brothers versus Tsuji and Kid, which, I kind of had even forgotten going into the when we discussed the A block last week, that they're kind of all technically on the same team. And I hadn't even thought of that.
Yeah.
But with that being said, this became something much more than just a preview for those, for the A block or the semifinals for the playoffs. Yeah. Everybody that was in these two groups got their shit in, and this thing kind of became in 14 minutes, it was pretty kick ass.
Yeah, and man, Yuto Ice, to me, he just was one of the standouts here, and it's like, yeah, he doesn't care like if they're the same faction, if they're supposed to be an alliance. Like, he's getting in everybody's face. He's getting up in Gabe's face and Finley's face, and they were just very intense throughout this match. And yeah, it's very interesting to see these guys face each other. And I think it's kind of like back in the day with like the Elite, like they would talk about we want to face each other because we figure we can have good matches with each other because we know each other so well. And it's kind of the same thing that's happening here with the War Dogs and Unaffiliated. It's like all these guys know each other very well. They're a great team, but because they know each other so well, they also make great opponents. And so it's been very interesting on these nights where we do get these opportunities where it's the mixed match. This night you had Finley, Gato, Naga Brothers, and Hiromu against Drilla, Gabe, Daiki Nagai, Shingo, and Yota Tsuji. So yeah, it was just a really entertaining, a great way to preview that upcoming match the following night.
I agree. And then this first part of the playoff finals here, just I don't know, maybe the best match I've ever seen in a World Tag League period.
Yeah, this rocked, and this is kind of what I was alluding to with TMDK and Bishamon being here and continuing the Zack Goto rivalry. And I think for me, that's easily like a rivalry of the year. I know this is kind of start of our new grading period, but these guys have just had a great series of singles matches. They have great chemistry, and so you had a lot of that built into this match as well. And then Oiwa, trying to make his shine there. And Oiwa and Yoshihashi at the beginning of the year, people might forgot, like they had some beef at the beginning of this year. So kind of bringing that back full circle.
Yeah, during, I believe it was the New Beginning tour, just kind of coming out of New Year's Dash. Those guys, they had that angle 1 year ago where they wouldn't stop attacking one another and they were just chopping forever. And then the match itself really delivered. That was one of the first like truly upper end Oiwa matches in New Japan post excursion. I don't know that they've done the greatest job like capitalizing on it since then, but they made up for it in droves here with this match. Just outstanding. Like this was outstanding. And when I'm saying like maybe perhaps the best now keep in mind, Tag League has never been the true standout highlight tournament for New Japan. Mainly, not in the same way that like when you compare it to their contemporary with like All Japan, some of those All Japan, what were they called? Real
World Tag Leagues
Real World Tag League, I believe. Those tournaments, like especially in the 90s and some going into the 2000s, have some of the greatest tag team matches in the history of the sport. New Japan has its collection of good to great matches, but they typically tend to only peak at a certain level. New Japan has never, even though they've got a long history of great tag teams, this has never been a primarily tag oriented, territory. And the tournament always takes place historically sometime between September and December. And in modern times, it's always like November to December. It's always the tail end of the year. It's the last thing that's kind of happening before the Tokyo Dome. It's in the middle of the winter. It's a really physically hard tour with many, many nights, and, is always kind of the doldrums. This year, in my opinion, based on what I've seen, this is the best like tag league we have ever had, at least in the terms of like everything that made tape. We're in the era of like New Japan World, so we have access to all of this stuff. Since that has started, this is the best one. And I also say that to go back and say like this tournament has existed in one form or fashion of another, going back to like the 70s and 80s. And even with that being said, as much tape that exists from any version of this, whether it's the MSG League, whether it's, Super Grade Tag League, G1 Tag League, whatever, I think this is the best match in the like 40 or 50 iterations of this tournament that have ever occurred. This is the pinnacle right here. TMDK versus Bishamon. And we're not talking about hysterical, Shane Haston and Mad Mikey Nichols. Like this was Zack ZSJ and Oiwa, that version of the team is the one that has brought this thing to the forefront here. As great as that tag team is, this one knocked it out of the park with Bishamon. And I don't think that the traditional TMDK team, no shade on them, but we've seen them wrestle Bishamon many times, never hit these level of heights. In fact, as good as Bishamon is, and they have some really incredible classics, this might be it might be the best Bishamon match.
Yeah, I mean, these guys went out here and absolutely killed it, absolutely rocked. Again, just the chemistry between Goto and Sabre really shown throughout the match. And then Oiwa, I think he's really stepped up his game as well in the tag league. And, he's really made adjustments to the grip lariat. He's been doing just more of the discus lariat, which we saw throughout the tournament in this matchup here. And it's him and Zack's double team combos have been great, and ending with, Zack doing some kind of wacky, bridging pin to get the win. And there was a lot of great near falls and near submissions in this matchup. And it was a TMDK getting the win here. We had predicted Bishamon last week going through, just figuring, we were predicting Bishamon, Umino, Uemura, and figuring you could use them to, beat Bishamon, but we had TMDK stamping their ticket here and getting their way to the finals.
Yeah, as soon as they won here, I was very, very happy about it. But then I was starting to think like, okay, all bets are off, because everything that we kind of projected out, we're thinking with an old mindset about how they approach these tournaments. And it's very clear that they've shifted how they want the winners to come out of these tournaments and how they want to use them and how they want to project the tag title scene and maybe even other scenes coming out of the tournament. And I even started to kind of shift my ideas where I was like, could Kid and Tsuji fucking win this thing? Like I started thinking about like, damn, last year it was Hiromu and Naito, and it was pretty clear Hiromu and Naito were like headed to something at the Dome. And I was like, and they ended up doing a singles match. Is there any chance that they might have just like had Kid and Tsuji win, the tournament and then challenge for the titles after the Dome the way they did last year? And then I was like, fuck, we should have thought they could be doing something totally different than what we've been thinking of. So this was really kind of a revelation to me. And I'm also still, we're going to talk. They have finalized the Tokyo Dome card. And we're going to talk. I mean, I do think that there's still time for them to throw something or another on there because they've done that in the past.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's pretty finalized at this point. And there's so many of these guys that were like, yeah, if they want to get them on, now's the time. And they're not. And I did feel like I was like, well, at least if Zack wins this, for him and Oiwa, this is their avenue to get on the Dome.
Yes, it's great spot for Zack, great spot for Oiwa, get them in front of 40,000. Nope.
So we'll see. But yeah, man, they blew it. Like they blew me away here. This match was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny because you and I were working on best tag team of the year. And I was like, yeah, we got to throw Zack and Oiwa on there. You were like, yeah, but they didn't have that good a record. And I was like, bro, they were the MVPs of the tournament last year. And this was a super weak year for tag teams. Like they got to be on there. Now I feel vindicated that they've gone back to back as MVPs. I mean, bro, Zack, say what you will about Zack. I know there's a lot of, there's some people that like to overhype everything just based on the kayfabe accomplishments. And then there's other people that like to detract from him because they, because of the perceived failures as a top draw of the company. But this dude has time and time again come into these tag leagues and made them relevant and made whoever he has been thrown together with as a partner, whether it's been Taichi or now Oiwa, and made the tag teams something special where a lot of people have failed to kind of capitalize on that. Zack has done that multiple times now. He might be in our era. He might be the highest performing single individual in the history of World Tag League.
Yeah. Well, I think Zack is very good at just making anything he's involved in special. He had that TV title, had that great title reign, was defending the title all over the place, and it made the title feel very special and important. Then you look at Tag League, he forming this team of Oiwa, it makes it feel special and important. We've seen him in previous New Japan Cups, that first New Japan Cup where he's tapping everybody out. Like, he just does a great job of making whatever he's doing seem important. Even if he's not going to end up winning, he makes it feel important, makes it feel strong. And so, yeah, I mean, Zach's one of the best in the world. And I know a lot of people like to joke about, the title reign and maybe it not drawing well. And some people complain he puts too many holds on or whatever. But I'm like, in 2025, if you can't see the greatness of Zack Sabre Jr., I don't know what to tell you. I used to be, a Sabre hater back in the day, the early aughts. I was like, who is this guy? Who's this skinny geek? What's the hype? He was in the Cruiserweight Classic. I'm like, okay, whatever. He's fine. Like, he's not flipping around here like Grand Metalik. But then, the more we watch Zach and you see his game, I'm like, yeah, this guy is outstanding, incredible.
He was good in that Cruiserweight Classic. I don't care what nobody says. Oh, man. But yeah, so, they waltzed their way into the finals. This was pretty shocking to me. Mm-hmm. We can jump into the second to last night here.
Yeah, so Friday, December 12th, there was a couple of stuff here on the undercard. There was a little mini story with Monster Sauce and Zane J. So Zane J had been teaming up with Monster Sauce throughout the tour and kept losing, and they got frustrated with him for losing. And so on this night, he was against them. He teamed up with Bolton Oleg in a failing effort to defeat Monster Sauce. But a little bit of a story there for Zane J on the tour. Let's see. Other thing here, United Empire versus War Dogs, and this is they went out to an all-out brawl. I think it was the night before they jumped Finley Hiromu.
They jumped Hiromu. They came out post-match and attacked Hiromu. And Walker Stewart was on the commentary. Like, I don't know what that was about. And I was like, how do you not know what it was about? He beat this man just the night prior. We all know what it's about.
Yeah, heat, brother. So that led into this tag team match here. Very heated. They're brawling all over the place. They spent most of the match on the outside. I mean, this match only went 42 seconds officially. It was more like 7 and change, almost 8 minutes, but yeah, the bell didn't ring, which that's something that, I don't mean to harp on this. It's a little bit nitpicky, but it's something they do constantly. It's not like a once in a blue moon. Sometimes a match the people will be brawling outside. They never enter the ring, and then they just fucking ring the bell and they start the match on the outside. And then other times they will not start the match until everybody is in the ring. And like in this instance, and then sometimes they will wait until one or several guys get in the ring. Like they don't have consistency when it comes to how they treat, when do we actually officially start a match? Like I literally couldn't tell you what they're going to do at any moment or time because they do it different every single time. Yeah, I don't think I don't know. I think it just depends on whatever story they're trying to get over that night is how they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So we did have, it was Callum Newman ended up getting a little bit of revenge here. He pins Gato with the Excalibur to get the win, and then they were trying to.
That's basically his punt.
Yeah, his PK. And they were trying to, put Gato out the business post-match. And, of course, Finley, these guys made the save. And we would see this continue on in the following night as well. Then semi-main event, we had TMDK taking on Team 100 and ELP. So a nice little warm-up there for TMDK to get them stay active, getting ready for the finals. And then the main event was a semi-final match with Gabe.
That ended up being the de facto preview for ELP's big unannounced TV title challenge for the following evening.
Yeah. So the main event semifinal match, we had Gabe Kidd and Yota Tsuji defeating the Knockout Brothers, Oscar and Yuto Ice, 20 minutes and 37 seconds.
I'm okay with it. The match was very good. I think I might have preferred for Uemura and Umino to have been in that spot, though.
Going against Gabe and Tsuji?
Yeah. I think that I might have preferred that. I don't think that there's a wrong answer there because both teams are phenomenal, but I just feel like that instead of it being this interfactional sort of thing, it to me maybe would have worked better from a generational aspect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. But especially like if Knockout Brothers are going to lose anyways and not make it to the finals, I don't see what the harm is in them having potentially, unless you're nitpicky about like matches that count for points in league play versus matches that are just a loss on the win-loss column when it comes to playoffs. If that's your thing, sure. But at the same time, to me, I'm not so nitpicky about that. The tournament's the tournament and they're taking a loss. It doesn't matter to me whether it's here or in the, the final play of block action or whatever.
Yeah, I think it might have been better had they had found a different way to get to 8 and not advance. So that way, they still look at top of the block with some of the other teams that were 8, but due to tiebreakers, just not advancing, I think would have been a better call. Yeah,
and maybe that speaks to what some of the early, whatever the word is. I'm so tired. Some of the early criticisms people had about the losses that they were taking early on in the tour. And they did kind of paint themselves into a corner where it's like, well, they're going to have to kind of win now. But with that being said, the match was very, very good. It wasn't nearly as good as the other block or the other playoff final, but still very, very, very good. And, it seems like Kid and Tsuji, they're not on the same page still, but they were still able to like find temporary common ground to like get to where they needed to get to. Like they weren't as openly hostile in these final nights.
Yeah, it seemed like they kind of mended fences a little bit there. They were still doing the handshake at the beginning. They kind of seemed, for the most part, to be working together. And Gabe Kidd was not, losing his cool here and trying to pull out chairs and stuff. So it does seem like things have kind of settled with them for now, and they were just kind of teasing the cracks throughout the block play. But yeah, I thought this match was very good. I thought that they had a good chemistry against the Knockout Brothers, and again, Yota Ice mixing it up there with Gabe and Tsuji. I thought he looked really good in there as well, and he had some really great near falls towards the end there, and it was Gabe and Tsuji hitting their the War Blaster or whatever they call it, their the Lariat Gene Blaster combo there at the end to get the win.
I'll tell you the other reason why I'm not as high on them defeating Knockout Brothers as I would have been for Umino and Uemura. Because to me, I've always been a fan of the idea that a really, really good world-class tag team can overcome the deficiencies of facing an all-star thrown together tag team. Like two top singles guys that come together are always going to be at a disadvantage in a tag team match when it comes to them facing like an established, long tenured tag team with a lot of experience. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's like, I don't know that I love the idea that Tsuji and Kid beat the Knockout Brothers. Much in the same way, I'm not thrilled with the Knockout Brothers losing. Now that we've come to the end of this, I'm like, yeah, maybe they shouldn't have lost this many times. I think I was a little more apologetic about it earlier, during the reviews. But now at this point, I'm like, man, they did kind of lose a lot. I like the idea that the losses are hypothetically potentially setting up a future title defense. And maybe you could say that this is, but I personally just don't believe that the United Empire, or I'm sorry, the unaffiliated War Dogs thing is going to stay long-term. I do think that at some point, and we kind of got the tease here a little bit later on, Kid and Tsuji, they got a date with one another in some form or fashion at some point down the road. I don't see them turning around after this is all said and done and being like, we did have a lot of success. Let's go after those.
Yes. Challenge for those tag team titles. Yeah.
Right. And I don't see Knockout Brothers getting the win back from them in this spot. That's why I'm not as high on it. I would have almost rather it had been Umino and Uemura, who are an established tag team, who they do have history with, defeating them once again. And instead of it being like the 50-50, like, okay, well, you guys beat us earlier in the year and then, we beat you twice now, so we're dominant. I like the idea that they would have lost to them, gotten knocked out, Yuto Aisen and Uemura still have this long held beef that can continue to play out. And we will get the return match somewhere down the road with those teams, whether it's title or non-title, and then have those guys come in who they're also still not a long tenured team. They're basically 2 top stars losing to another 2 top stars. I just think personally that works better. That's my opinion. So that'd be my one criticism here, is because I just don't see them running this back. And I think that when the champions take losses in a tournament like this, they should be setting stuff up for them to, get those wins back or get title challenges down the road.
Yeah, I mean, there's a chance that Naga Brothers might not even be tag team champions much longer. So like all these losses, right. It's like, all right, what did we accomplish here? I mean, if they end up retaining at New Year's Dash and, face some of these guys they lost to, fine, and get their wins back. But how it's feeling, it doesn't feel like they are going to be champions much longer. And then they're going to have all these losses where they're not going to get a chance to really avenge those losses.
And I'm not, I don't want to sound like a crybaby personally, because in my opinion, and this is just, I really believe this, I think this is the best booked tournament they've had all year. I don't know that since in the entire 8 years we've been doing the show, that I could ever say the World Tag League is the singular, and I'm not saying this as a bit, it's true. This is the best tournament that they booked all year. I genuinely think that this is the best tournament. And there's so many things to praise about the booking, the creative decision, the quality of the matches. Almost all in all, it's a chef's kiss. Mwah. But I don't love the way they handled Knockout Brothers across the board in this one. I feel like there's money in these guys. I think they see it too. But I think there's just enough of that. We roasted them pretty bad the other night on Saturday night. But Gato, bring your ass back to the stage. But no, we joked how we used to say, you can always trust in Gato. And we can't do that anymore. Now it feels like there's always got to be enough Gatoism sprinkled in there to ruin things. It's like he can't help himself, but fuck something up, even in a really good booked, program or whatever. But that's my one bit of criticism there. But all in all, still a great match. Kid and Tsuji move on, and this is where I was starting to feel like they might win this shit.
Yeah.
And there's no reason that if they did win this, that they couldn't turn around and do something entirely differently than what we had expected. And in fact, even though they lost, they still turned around and did something totally different than what we were anticipating.
Yeah, once they won, I was more of I feel like Zack and Oiwa are definitely winning, because obviously Tsuji already has the date for the Dome, and I'm like, well, you have to have a tag team title match. My old school thinking, I'm like, oh, they're definitely going to do a tag team title match at the Dome. And even commentary, they've been talking about there's going to be a tag team title match and the winner's going to face the Knockout Brothers and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, yeah. So if they're doing a title match at the Dome, then yeah, Team DK has to win. And it's going to be at the Dome.
Nah. After what happened last year with Hiromu and Naito, and I realized we've been talking about how they have been very apprehensive to add anything to that Wrestle Kingdom card. I was like, man, all bets are off. They could have and then I was like, man, if they really want to make Tsuji look strong, have him win this shit. And then he's the global champion and the World Tag League, winner going in. But here's the thing. If he won World Tag League and was global champion and was walking to the Dome, I'd be like, beep, 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 beep.
Losing.
Losing. I'm like, they're making him look too strong. I don't like this.
Oh, man.
That man's definitely looking up at the lights at the end of the night.
Well, so that takes us to the final night, which was Sunday, December 14th from Grand MC Kumamoto. So the show opened up. We had the NJPW World Television title match. It was an open challenge. ELP defeats Big Jag, Hartley Jackson, 11 minutes and 2 seconds. And it was great seeing Hartley Jackson in a, not so single spot here. I thought he looked great in this match.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of kind of negative reaction to this online, and I'm a little, it was an 11-minute match. It wasn't anything that was standout. I thought that these guys worked pretty well together. This was the first Hartley Jackson singles match in almost a year in New Japan. And how old is the guy? 46, something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
And this is his first time ever in his career, challenging for a singles title in New Japan. Yeah, he's 45 years old. First time ever challenging for any sort of singles gold in New Japan. That's kind of crazy. But I like Hartley Jackson. I think he works really well. I thought ELP and him, for a first time matchup, I thought it was pretty good. And it was, it didn't overstay its welcome. It wasn't like something where we're going to turn around and be like, oh, you got to go out of your way and see ELP versus Hartley Jackson. But I thought it was above solid. I thought it was pretty good. Very good.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun way to open up the show. I thought they had a pretty good chemistry. And yeah, ELP had to figure out a way to, outmaneuver the big man. And I thought Hartley Jackson got to show off what he's good at doing, showing his strength and his agility for a big man. And then ELP having to use his speed, eventually was able to hit the CR2, hits the Thunder Kiss 86, and puts the big man away. And ELP is going to he has a title defense at the Road to Tokyo Dome. And they were saying, he was saying, up until January 4th, I'm going to be doing this open challenge. But as of right now, he is not booked for the Dome.
That man he's not defending the title in the Tokyo Dome. Unfortunately for him, they should have switched the title if that's the case.
Yeah, dude, I'm all in on doing something with Hartley Jackson next year. Like, this guy rocks, big bruiser, works hard every night.
I like ELP. I think that he deserves more than what he's being given right now, honestly. I know that there's a lot of hate out there from certain corners of the fandom. I still think it's a little perplexing. I don't know. They've been hurt by too many white men, But I like Hartley Jackson too, so I thought this was fun.
Yeah. So then following that, we had Monster Sauce, Team 100, and Masasora Yasuda defeating Bishamon, Katsuya Murashima, Bolton Oleg, and Tatsuya Matsumoto in 9 minutes and 37 seconds.
Yeah, a fun, just kind of catch-up match from what occurred, from the earlier iterations of the tournament. And this is kind of what is typical of the final nights of World Tag League. Is you see a lot of these teams that had teamed together, they're kind of wrapping up and they do multi-mans or, special one-off tag team matches and, just kind of wrap things up. And that's what this was.
Yeah. And then you had some fun interactions there. Suzuki-gun kind of play in there of Archer and Taichi teaming up again. And then we've been seeing the story of Matsumoto being, the kind of the third man for Bishamon and being a part of the Goto Revolutionary Army. So they've been continuing that story. And you had also a lot of Young Lion interaction there, and they're continuing to want to have a Young Lion challenge, and guys are talking about who they want to face. Yasuda wants to face Taichi in his send-off match for Excursion. So it's kind of building some little things all throughout this matchup here. Then following that, you had the House of Torture team of Don Fale, Sho, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru defeating El Desperado Shomakato and Tsuji Ishikawa in 5 minutes and 41 seconds. So just kind of another holdover match from all the guys that were in the tournament here, and the House of Torture team getting the win.
We didn't mention this, but I was very happy to see Tanahashi hit that high fly flow on Sho and send his ass packing a couple nights earlier.
Yeah.
if that's one of the final, that's the last time that we ever see Tanahashi get a win over House of Torture, team, because the following night, it was Evil defeating, one of the Young Lions with the Darkness Scorpion or whatever he calls it. So I think that might be the final, emphasis of Tanahashi versus Hot.
Yeah.
And he came in hot with a high fly flow. Hold this 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Well, and he did to a junior what he's gonna do to the rest of the top juniors.
House of Torture did get a little bit more, got a little bit of heat back here. Fala hitting the grenade on Shomakato to get the win here. Then following that, we had the War Dragons, Drilla Amoni and Shingo Takagi teaming up with Taiji Ishimori to defeat the House of Torture team of Chase Owens, Doki, and Yujiro Takahashi. So a little bit of Tokyo Dome stuff here. I think Ishimori is one of the guys in the four-way where the winner will challenge Doki at some point in time. And then you had chasing Udril War Dragons from the tournament. So, yeah, it's a good, fun matchup here with the Bullet Club unaffiliated team looking strong.
Was this match hard for you, Jeremy?
Was it hard?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you're having to say goodbye to one of your favorite tag teams of modern times. Bye-bye War Dragons. This is it.
I don't know. They seem pretty friendly with each other. I think they might want to stick together, you know?
One last team flipping power bomb. Made in Japan. See y'all. You know, hit the War Dragon. That's it.
Yeah, hit that on Chase Owens. So, yeah.
You might see him hit it together again in like a multi-man match or some shit, but as a tag team, this is it. See ya. Bye, War Dragons.
Oh, man. Yeah, they're such a great team. I hope they somehow, some ways, find a way to stay together.
We hardly even knew you.
Then following that, we had Tanahashi, Shota Umino, and Yuya Uemura defeating the Knockout Brothers and Daiki Nagai. So kind of continuing, the Tanahashi Yuto Ice rivalry. Daiki Nagai trying to, make a name for himself. And the Knockout Brothers, they're like the two guys out of this whole War Dog unaffiliated thing that are like not really jiving with the whole like being buddy with unaffiliated, and they're not really giving Daiki Nagai a chance, and Daiki's trying to tag in, they keep ignoring him, and he would have to like tag himself in to get in.
Bro, that he got like bashed in this one, and him and Oscar were like going nose to nose and getting into it, which is kind of fucking funny because it's Oscar and Daiki Nagai.
Yeah.
If Rich ever had any questions about whether Daiki Nagai could be the future ace of the company, just see him next to Oscar, and you got your questions answered. But with that all being said, like, yeah, bro, they might jump.
Yeah, they could be some issues there, but so yeah, these.
Well, we're gonna get to it, but we've got a match coming up in the Dome, United Empire versus unaffiliated Bullet Club, War Dogs, and they got an X and an XX, and we don't know who the fuck those two individuals are, but I saw the silhouettes, and one guy was throwing his hands up like this. And the other guy just looked like tall CAW, you know what I mean?
Oh, man.
So
yeah, we'll see. So Tanahashi hit the high fly flow on Daiki Nagai to get the pin, and you had the post match celebration. Tanahashi's last time here.
Sons.
Yeah, him and Uemura and Umino, which they're doing all this stuff to position Umino and Uemura with Tanahashi, and Tanahashi wanted to pass the torch to them, but then as of right now, these guys are nowhere to be seen on the Tokyo Dome card. It's like, then why are you pushing him so heavily with
it's not for you, baby.
with Tanahashi? Like, you would think, like, okay, yeah, Tanahashi's giving them the rub, teaming up together, and then at the Dome, they're going to be highlighted, and people can know, like, oh yeah, Tanahashi's like giving a stamp of approval on these guys, and so we need to get behind them.
You say he's giving them the what?
Stamp of approval.
No, before that.
The rub. Pause.
Hey, yo.
Oh, man. So that was that.
To completion.
Then after that, we had Dave Finlay and Hiromu Takahashi defeating the United Empire by disqualification. So it's kind of what you alluded to earlier with this thing becoming a blood feud. Again, these guys were brawling all over, and you had Callum Newman busting Dave Finlay open, so Finlay's all bleeding, and they're beating down Hiromu, they're beating down Gato, until finally some of the other War Dogs and unaffiliated come to make the save. Callum Newman's doing the Prince Devitt shooter gun at these guys, and Finlay grabs the mic and he's saying, I'm glad you made me bleed. You help remind me who I am. You help remind the fans who I am, and the boys in the back who I am. They were all forgetting who I was, and at the Tokyo Dome, we're gonna, beat you guys up essentially. And so essentially throwing out the gauntlet there for some kind of multi-man matchup, which we would learn 10-man tag between War Dogs / unaffiliated versus the United Empire.
And they did announce that the United Empire team that will be competing as of now, it is going to be Callum Newman. It's going to be the Great Okan. It's going to be the returning from injury Hanare, and 2 mystery partners, which is kind of strange because it's like you got Templario, you got JAY, you got TJP. I don't know who else is in that group.
You got JC Mateo.
Who's that?
Jeff Cobb.
Oh. No, for real though. Are there any other members that?
No, that's the same because like on the entrance video, like they still have like Osprey, Cobb, like all those guys in the. They
got Gideon Gray in there.
Yeah, I think he's still in there. Francesco, Akira, but I don't know if he'll be ready.
Oh, that's right. They got Blair Davenport in there. Oh man. But yeah, they're gonna have 2 mystery partners. I don't know if that means new members. I mean, it sounds like they're ready to reinvigorate United Empire. This match essentially wasn't really even a match. It was a match. It was an angle masquerading as a match. I think we've got our first true blue 2026 angle of the year contender. So we'll be sure to jot that down, Jeremy.
Yeah.
But I thought that this was good. I feel like they've done a really good job in a very short amount of time building something of note when it comes to, adding emotion and stakes to a program, which New Japan isn't always the best at doing that. And when they do it well, it's really exciting because it's done so sparingly. And it feels like the last time that this was done to this level was like the first time they had the dog pound steel cage match when it was United Empire and War Dogs. And that was like 2 years ago. And now we're kind of full circle back to something somewhat similar. I will tell you, I am still not sold personally. And I'm not going to, belabor the same points. I've made the points several weeks in a row here, but I'm just not bought in on the idea that Cal Newman is ready to lead the group. But it doesn't matter if I feel that way or not. It seems at this point in time, that is the direction that they're really heading with this. I don't think they're setting him up to be, John the Baptist bringing in a Jesus for United Empire, the savior of United Empire. I think he is the key guy himself. He's not the forerunner for whoever it is that's coming in. He's not the Carl Anderson. They're going to go with him.
Yeah, that does seem to be the direction they're going in, trying to make him more of the leader, which, I mean, at the end of the day, like, yeah, maybe we don't love it, but, I mean, he's a young guy. We talk about pushing the young guys, giving them their own factions, and so could be good for him. I really do enjoy him as a heel and some of the heel work that he has been doing. They've also kind of added another wrinkle to the story of Cal Newman being mad at Finlay for Finlay being the one that, injured Osprey and getting Osprey out of New Japan Pro Wrestling. That's it.
Wasn't he also part of the reason that he got the knee injury a year prior too? Or did I misremember that?
Maybe. I forget who they were facing when he hurt his knee. But on commentary, Charlton was bringing up, like, yeah, he's upset that Finlay was the guy that was, responsible for getting rid of Osprey from that first dog pound cage match.
I'm not upset. It's not that I don't like Callum Newman. I do like Callum Newman. And in fact, it's kind of funny because suddenly this is just a little bit of anecdotal evidence, but like I was mentioning today that I still wasn't bought in on him. And a lot of our Discord channel, which typically historically has just been heavy anti-Callum Newman. Suddenly they're like, yeah, he's had a good year. He really stepped it up in the G1. He had that great title match. And I was like, what? Where did you guys you guys hate this dude? Suddenly we're all good with Cal Newman. I'm the only one who's talking shit. All right. But I think that kind of speaks to some of the efforts that they've made with his creative kind of paying off in the eyes of the fandom. I'm not opposed to him being the leader. I personally have 2 things with it. 3. Number 1, I don't think he's ready. Number 2, I don't think it's been built well enough. And then number 3, I don't know if I would like be putting my chips and stocks on a dude that has a one phone call connection to just jumping over to Tony Khan when the time comes. Like, are we sure that this is what we want to do? We're sure we don't want to set up an Umino, a Uemura, or an Oiwa or a Tsuji to lead a group. We want to set up Callum Newman, the the literal like son of Will Ospreay who just jumped, 2 years ago. Are we sure we want to go this route?
Hey, I mean, any of those other guys you mentioned could jump.
No, they can't. They literally can't. They could, but they won't want them. But this dude makes inroads, and Triple H is going to come calling. They got to feel. They need to put some bodies. NXT, TNA, send him down to Triple A. They got places for him.
Yeah.
He could be ROH champion within the next couple of years. You just don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. So following that, we had the never openweight 6-man tag team title match. So we had Wato, Yano, and Yo facing off against Evil, Ren Narita, and Sonata. So first, the match ended like in a no contest, essentially, because they were brawling, and then you had Kanemaru coming out with the referee shirt and counts the fall for these guys to get the win and claiming that they're the new champions. And you had Marty Asami and Aaron Wolf coming out and backing down, House of Torture, getting them back in the ring, getting the match restarted. And then you had Yo, of all people, pinning former world champion Sonata to pick up the win for his team. So they were able to, survive all shenanigans. You did have Aaron Wolf on the outside, jaw-jacking with Evil, which all led to the distraction of Yo being able to roll up Sonata, get the win for their team. So they retained the titles, and then post-match, you had Evil and Aaron Wolf having a big pull-apart brawl and brawling all the way to the back.
How'd you feel about that brawl?
I didn't love it, man. I don't know, dude. He just looked super green, which I know he is. But the problem is they are pushing him so hard. And like Charlton's like losing his mind on commentary. The baddest man on the planet. And here comes Aaron Wolf. And he's back live down. And then like they're having this brawl. And it's like a guy that just doesn't know what to do. Like Evil's like, trying to throw forearm. He's just kind of standing there, and he eventually throws the forearm, and like he's not really like trying to like push back, and the guys are just kind of barely holding. Like I don't know, like it's very nitpicky, but this is one of the featured matches on the card. There are guys, Zack Sabre Jr.
Third from the top.
Yeah, third from the top. Zack Sabre Jr. can't find a spot on the card. Hiroki Goto can't find a spot on the card. Umino Uemura, none of these guys can find a spot on the card, but we have Aaron Wolf here, which is fine. I get it. Big judo star, big, recognizable name in Japan. He passes the mom tests. All the moms know who he is in Japan. I get it. But if they're going to push him so hard, like, what is he doing in the dojo? Like, how hard is his training? Because it seems like he's been put in a lot of these angles the last couple months where he just kind of looks like a fish out of water and doesn't quite know what to do, what facial reactions to make. And it has me worried about January 4th.
I don't have much to say about it, honestly. Like, I feel like we've had this conversation so many times at this point, and it's a worthwhile conversation to have. Obviously, we've had the discussion. But I don't know what much more I could possibly add to that conversation because we got 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks. It's put up or shut up time. It's time to pay the piper. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And I mean, I hope that I can look back and be like, oh, I was over analyzing it, or this was all
I don't think you are, Jeremy. Okay. When it comes between the two of us, when it comes to someone saying outlandish things and being wrong, that's typically me. Someone being a bit more level-headed and, calling it for what it is, that's typically going to be you. And I would like for you to be wrong here, because if you're wrong, then it means we got, an ace level star, a guy that can carry this company for the next, 5 to 10 years. Yeah. I just don't know that that's what we're that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, based off of every angle we've seen, including this one, I'm worried, and people are going to be like, yeah, he's new, he's a beginner, he's training, and that's fine. All the young lions are beginners or trainers, but then once a young lion gets to a point of debuting, like, they know what to do. Like, they know the facial reactions, they know how to throw strikes, they know how to pull people apart, and like Aaron Wolf just doesn't seem to really grasp it. And so, yeah, I do hope I'm wrong.
I mean, you're right in the one aspect that the young lions do know how to wrestle, but even then, it's still just fundamentals. It takes so many years of seasoning, to get them ready. And then even then, most of the time, it's still hit and miss as to who's going to be a Tanahashi and who's going to be, a Yoshihashi.
Right. And there's a reason why they don't throw those young lions into big angles and big matches. Like, they have to spend years and years, like, in the black trunks on excursion, like, get a character, and we're hot-shotting this guy, which, as of right now, he's not on the Brock Lesnar path of hot-shotting. He's on the Gable Stevenson path right now.
I hope we just get a solid Ronda Rousey out of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm hoping best case scenario.
Yeah, I'm hoping come Tokyo Dome, he has the gi on, and he's just judo throwing people, and the crowd's losing their mind, and he pins Evil, and we're off
moments.
to the moments,
stories.
I hope this is all it's a ruse. Like, he's purposely acting like he doesn't know what to do, and then come Wrestle Kingdom,
he's doing a Sabu.
Yes.
I pretended to botch those moves to add realism to what I was doing.
Yeah, so like, the Young Bucks pretending to suck because they're heels. Like, yeah, he's, just pretending to be green to have everybody under a false sense of expectation. And then January 4th, he walks out there. He's in the gi. He's shredded. He's coming out here, tossing everybody around, throwing drop kicks, doing a pile driver, doing all this stuff, and looks amazing.
Swanton.
Yeah, he does a Swanton 450. Man.
All right. Well, that is we now know who will be defending those never 6-man tag team titles in the Dome. So I can't wait, for this Hantai team to walk in, champions, walk out, champions, defend their title with pride. Can't wait.
Yeah. We have a question from Let's Go 7252. Will you praise Evil for making the Never Openweight Championship more golden than it is?
I don't even know what that question even fucking means.
I think he's talking about Evil spray painting the title gold.
No, I think it looks like shit.
Yeah, it looks weird.
I hate it.
It looks like an unfinished title.
Yeah. It looks like the TNT title when Cody brought it out and it wasn't done yet.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I remember, I was like, why'd he bring out that silver tin? Like, there's no gold on that shit. What's he doing? He's like, it's not finished, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
All
right. So that takes us to the main event for the 2025 World Tag League Finals. And we did have TMDK defeating Gabe, Kidd, and Tsuji in 32 minutes and 40 seconds.
Again, on a tour that we've already kind of thrown a lot of superlatives on. Maybe not quite the best, but in my opinion, certainly a top 5 all-time tournament final for a tag league.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a notebook match, and I thought they worked really, really hard. Zach and Gabe have some really great chemistry, and they were talking about the 2024 G1 match, which I thought was one of the best matches of the G1 that year, and Gabe having to be woken up because Zach had choked him out and, didn't get a chance for revenge in the G1 this year. But yeah, they have a lot of great chemistry. I thought Oiwa and Tsuji looked good mixing it up as well. And there's a lot of great near falls down the stretch, and they were just hitting a lot of their big combos. There was a ton of the Zach Oiwa combos into pins where it looked like they were going to win off of that. We did have a War Blaster at one point on Oiwa, and it seemed like Gabe and Tsuji were going to get the win, but Zach made the save. And then there was a great Gene Blaster counter into a Zach driver But towards the end, it came down to Oiwa and Gabe Kidd, and Oiwa was able to hit that big discus lariat onto Gabe Kidd to get the win, get the big pin here. TMDK getting the win, and one of the most successful tournament factions, having a G1 win, a Super Junior win, a Junior Tag League win, and now a World Tag League win. Oiwa capturing his first tournament trophy. Zack finally winning World Tag League after being in it several years. So overall, pretty big moment here for Oiwa and Sabre.
Yeah, I didn't expect it at all. I think that you're absolutely right. There's some really good connections there between all of these guys, and then even like with Tsuji and Zack, all the tournaments that they have faced one another in, including like G1 finals, and then it's a little bit of a tenuous connection because they're not from the same generation and they haven't faced off a ton of times. But around this time, just last year, in the buildup to the Tokyo Dome, Gabe Kidd wrestled Oiwa in a I forget what did he have a title back then or no?
Yeah, it was for the strong title.
That's right. He was the strong champion, and he defended against Oiwa in the US and kind of just owned him basically, and used the match as an opportunity to cut promos on Kenny Omega, and they haven't really run it back since then. So to kind of come full circle a year later, and not only are they defeating that team, but Oiwa's the guy standing tall. He's the one getting the definitive pinfall victory over Gabe Kidd. It shows a lot about his growth and development and character. The matches really stand out. We were actually asked a question. I wasn't in the official Keepin It Strong Style channel, but listener and a friend of the show, Drar, he'd asked about like where I felt like, or where people felt like this landed in like the all-time tournament finals. And I like thought about it for a while, and like in my opinion, just kind of, and there's some other ones that could probably be pretty close to this category, but like all time, and I'm kind of including all the tag leagues. Like I think the 84 final with Inoki and Sakaguchi against the North-South connection is really stand out. The 2001 final with Tenkoji versus Mike Barton and Jim Steele is really great. That's Bart Gunn and Jungle Jim Steele from WCW. The one I never hear anybody talk about, and it might be the best one, honestly, is Apollo Go-Go versus Bad Intentions from 2009. Nobody talks about that match, and it's available on YouTube. If you've never seen that final, you probably should watch it. Like it's actually maybe the best Carl Anderson match in New Japan, by the way, or at least performance, by the way, as well. The one that I think is still probably the best is from 2022, Bishamon and Aussie Open. That one was incredible, and I felt like this one wasn't very far off from it at all. Like to me, it's a top 3 all-time finals, and for it to feature 4 guys who let's call it what it is. They're not real tag teams in the sense of like teaming together consistently all throughout the year. Obviously, Zack and Oiwa have teamed together a bit more, and they even did a couple. I think they did 1 or 2 tag team matches outside of Tag League this year, but by and large, they do team together a lot in multi-mans, but they're not a true blue tag team. For them to like go back to back as MVPs and not only just be the MVPs, but also just win the whole fucking thing. Like that's kind of crazy. Yeah. And I mean, like at this point in time, Jeremy, like I've been keeping track. I've got at least, at minimum right now, 12 matches. How many nights did this thing go? 19, 18?
17.
12 matches and 17 nights for a World Tag League that are noteworthy. We're talking about like around 3 3/4 to 4 stars minimum range.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Pretty awesome tournament. And yeah, I think this final is easily one of the best finals since we've been reviewing Tag League. Yeah, I thought really, really great stuff. I thought the crowd was really getting into it. The crowd was really into Tsuji and Gabe. And they really wanted to see those guys kind of rally and come behind. They did get behind Oiwa a little bit towards the end there. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a good atmosphere. The crowd seemed pretty packed and was into the match. And, nice, 30-plus minute match up here. Great back and forth action. And, Oiwa did a great job with that, the discus lariat there, pinning Gabe Kidd. So that's kind of a big deal for him, getting that win back on Gabe Kidd and being somebody who they've kind of pushed this year. Really big moment for TMDK.
I think like in the modern New Japan world era of things, the only other ones that I can think of off the top of my head that kind of stand out would be like, I know Bishamon versus GOD 2.0 was very good. That was ELP and
Hikuleo.
Talatonga. That was really good. There was one year where FinJuice defeated GOD in the final, and I remember that one being like close to 4 stars ish, being pretty good. I feel like that's it. I really don't think since we've been doing this show that any of the tag league, even some of the like good tournaments, like the first few, I don't think any of those finals really stood out. I do remember when what's their names? Not what group? Great Bash Heel. When Great Bash Heel defeated GOD, the first GOD, Tama and Tangaloa, when they first went into their first tag tournament, that was like 2016. That was actually a very, very good tournament final as well. But like, it's been pretty few and far between, really, for a lot of these things.
Yeah. So we did have a question here from Def Triangle 720. Overall thoughts on World Tag League this year?
I don't have much more to share. I already kind of expressed my views on it. The only other thing I'll add is like, I feel like even if you were able to, like, let's say you can go to a different tournament and pull up, match rating for match rating, cage match or whatever, you want to use, and pull out a higher number of stars, let's say from a G1 or from a Super Juniors. That's all well and good. Although I'm not so confident you actually can. But even if you could, you're not going to find a tournament that's as competently booked, as satisfying to watch night over night, that flowed as well, that had as much intrigue, that developed people and has meaningful stories leading out of it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when you compare this final, you compare maybe perhaps one of the 3 best World Tag League finals of all time, and you compare that to Evil versus Takeshita, one of the bottom 5 all-time G1 finals. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, this tournament rocked. Definitely one of the better World Tag Leagues that we ever reviewed. And yeah, you mentioned so many great matches throughout the tournament. Great semifinal, great final matchup here with TMDK and Gabe and Tsuji. So really good, really great World Tag League here. And one thing I do want to mention that we didn't really talk about throughout World Tag League is Red Shoes not being the referee in main events that featured Shota Umino. So a little bit of a shift there. He always kind of, regardless of Umino was there or not, if it was a main event, he was going to be there. But they started moving him around. If Umino and Umemura did have a lot of main events on this tour, and they switched Red Shoes out. So it's
what are they
interesting.
Trying to tell us?
I'm wondering if they're
trying to tell us that not all this dude's wins were on the up and up. Is that what they're saying?
Maybe.
My bad. What were you saying?
No, I thought just an interesting element there of like, I don't know, they're really trying to get Umino over and not lean into the whole like Nepo baby thing. So
yeah, I mean, that leads me to believe like if you gotta fix it, then something was broken. What does that lead? It just tells me, bro. Like, I don't know.
those 3 counts were a little fast in some of those matches.
Remember, or maybe who knows? Maybe like it's a real world thing where it's like Red Shoes was fucking pissed when he had to count that 3 for his kid. Remember during New Japan Cup? Yeah, count that 3 count for Finley. He's like, I'm not doing that shit anymore. Get Marty Asami out here.
Oh man. So the fallout of World Tag League, TMDK winning, they had the whole press conference, and These guys are saying they wanted to challenge at New Year's Dash, and it has been made official. The tag team titles will main event New Year's Dash on January 5th. And we had a question here from Ann Kangaroo in the Discord. Does having Oiwa say he wants to challenge the tag title on January 5th make him look like a geek?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's this really hilarious part of Talladega Nights, the Ballad of Ricky Bobby, where like I forget what actress's name. I forget what her name is. The redhead chick. She's like giving this really incredible, like, you know, speech. And then this like little wiry, like nerdy guy like comes up behind her and he just starts talking bullshit. And Will Ferrell's character is like, dude, every great thing that she just said and did, you made it not that by talking. And like, that's what I feel like about the Oiwa thing, where it's like, you just had one of the greatest wins in one of the greatest tag league tournaments in the history of this company. And then you turn around and you say, no, sir, I don't want to work in the highest grossing, biggest crowd that this company has done since the days of Inoki. You know, at least in the verifiable periods of time, the biggest show of our lifetime. No, I don't want to work and wrestle for the top tag team titles that I earned a shot at by going through a 17-day tournament in the middle of the winter. No, I'd rather walk into Ota City War Gymnasium and be the main event of that show.
With 4,000 people.
Yeah. I'd rather do less than 10% of the gate, less than 10% of the people for that show. That's what I would like to do. I think that would be better for us long term. That doesn't even make any sense. It's literally like it's like one of those things where people resound themselves, or like they resign themselves to a bad position because they don't believe that they can like you know, do better. Mm-hmm. Like I remember hearing this comedian one time and he was like talking about like his older brothers, when they would like all sit in the car together, he always knew he was not going to get one of the window seats because they were bigger than him. And so he just like resolved himself and was basically resigned himself and was like, I call the hump.
Yeah.
He's like trying to take his urgency back by like calling the seat that nobody else does want, because the reality is it doesn't matter if he called the other one, he's not getting it. So he just tries to take ownership. That's what like Oiwa's done here, but it backfires. You look like a fucking idiot when you're like, no, I don't want to work the Dome. I want to go to City War the next day. That's better. It's like, it's not better. You look so stupid.
Yeah, and you know, they're trying to push the whole thing of like, oh, we want to main event the first show after Tanahashi's gone, and you know, really bring in the era, blah blah blah. I'm just like, I don't care. Like, they try that stuff with Death Speed throughout the year, like it's not working here, and yeah, it just makes guys like this look like absolute dummies and geeks. And I really wish that they would have just kind of put it on the company, and they should have just from the get-go been like, you know, there are going to be limited matches this year at Wrestle Kingdom because we want to focus on the Tanahashi retirement. There's going to be a ceremony. We want to give matches time. So yeah, it's not going to be your traditional, you know, 10 match, 11 match for Wrestle Kingdom. So there's only going to be a finite number of matches. So not everything you normally get will be there, to at least give the expectations like, all right, like there's to try and give it some reasoning why it's not happening.
Here's the truth, Jeremy. This is the truth. Of any match that that's getting bumped off of it, this is the one that shouldn't. Period. I get what you're saying. I agree with you. I do think that there is I think that that's good logic. They should be saying, unfortunately, not everybody's going to make the cut. That's just what it is this year. But at the same time, that doesn't preclude them from also being able to do the right thing and put this match on the fucking show. Is there anybody in the world that wants to see that number one contendership for the IWGP Junior title above Knockout Brothers versus TMDK? I don't think that human exists. And if they do, I don't know that I want to meet them or be friends with them, because they got derangement. Like, like who wants that? This is something that absolutely positively belongs on the Tokyo Dome card, and it's not going to be. So that's the first thing. The second thing is like, in another era, I have to imagine that this is a talking point coming from management, because we've watched Zack for a long time, and we always talk about how these guys are given a lot of like latitude and long leash to say whatever it is they want to say. And a typical Zack Sabre Jr. promo would be like, these fucking blimey bastards. He's like, you're keeping me off the Tokyo Dome card, blah, blah, blah. You know, he'd start going off on a tirade about how the company is fucking them over, instead of like trying to babyface themselves and talk about like ushering in a new era. That does not sound like Zack Sabre Jr. at all. Zack complaining about them not giving them the opportunity and not putting them on the card is what he would typically say. So I have to assume that someone from higher up was like, yeah, we're going to need you to play nice on this one.
need you to roll the story we're trying to tell.
I apologize. I can't do a good Zack impersonation. I don't have a good British accent. And I don't know his mannerisms, but I think you get the gist of what I'm saying, is that like normally he would basically babyface themselves and turn it against the booking committee, and he'd be like, ghetto.
Boris Johnson.
He'd be talking shit, but like they're not doing that. So this is a directive from somebody that's like, yeah, you might want to play nice here, you know?
Yeah. And I agree with you. I definitely think the tag title match should be on there. But if you were not, I don't think you go like, all right, let's tell Oiwa to go out there and be like, yeah, I don't want to compete on the biggest Wrestle Kingdom in a long time in front of this packed, sold out Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, it's kind of insulting to the intelligence of the fans.
Yeah. I wish they would just come and be like, yeah, we're, due to the format, this match is going to be on New Year's Dash, whatever. Instead of like having it, be on the wrestlers, be on Oiwa, be on Doki, to be like, yeah, we don't want to be on this big, one of the biggest paydays of the year, be on national television, be in front of 50,000 people, with the most eyeballs on this product, and get over as a star. Like, no, we don't want to do that.
And you have to assume they're probably still going to be on the show, because it's becoming pretty evident that the Rambo itself is going to be a way for them to basically get as many people like, whatever it's called, like just kind of thrown in and on the card as sort of a make good, but it's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
But it might be a situation. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if some variation of TMDK walks out of the Tokyo Dome with the Never Six Mans, and then they walk into 1-5 as the Never champions challenging the IWGP champions, because they like to do that. They've done stuff like that in the past.
Yeah, you could have Zack, Oiwa, and Hartley Jackson come out there and win that thing.
The big moment for Hartley, blah, blah, blah. You know? But yeah, it does look, it's stupid. It's really stupid. And I understand, like, I also think it's a little bit partially greed, honestly, because we know how this company likes to operate. They tend to take big shows and split them, and they take tournaments that don't necessarily need to be split, and they split them. They try to milk things as much as they possibly can to get the most juice out of the squeeze. And for them, it's sort of like, we already sold out the fucking Tokyo Dome. Do we need? And that's what it really comes down to. Like, honestly, I honestly think that's the truth. I don't think it's so much about a time constraint as much as because they can cut people's time. They have enough time to get these matches onto the tour or onto the Dome if they really, really were determined to do so. But instead, they're probably like, well, show's already totally sold out, but we got some New Year's Dash tickets we need to move.
Yeah, and to them, they're probably trying to fight the complaints of New Year's Dash. Nothing happening, nothing interesting, and now like, oh look, we got a tag team title match main event, and we're probably gonna get the junior title match, the winner of the 4-way against Doki that night. So
I'm not in favor of that. And I'll tell you why, Jeremy, because the allure of New Year's Dash has never been about seeing title changes. The allure of New Year's Dash has been the mystery of what is going to be on the show, the wackiness of the mystery vortex nature of the card, and the fun, creative, unexpected angles and stories. You know what I mean? And what the complaint has been for the last several years isn't, oh, there's not enough title matches, or, oh, I don't know what they're doing going into it. It's like, they didn't do anything cool or creative coming out of this shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, where's my Suzuki-gun returning to attack Hantai moment? Where's my Kenny Omega kicking AJ Styles out of the Bullet Club? Where's that shit? That shit hasn't happened in years.
Yeah.
This is not the make good. The make good isn't IWGP tag team titles on, an Ode to Ward. You know what most people that are New Japan fans are going to say to that? Why the fuck isn't that on the Dome?
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
We're going to be there, and I'm still going to be thinking, like, why is this happening here? Why isn't this just before Saya and Izumi?
Yeah.
I think that's it's Shuri.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's our thoughts on that. Definitely asked us.
That's all I got to say about that.
Definitely asked a similar questions. We covered that. We had the cards announced for Road to Tokyo Dome. So,
I will take us through this, Jeremy.
Okay.
So we got night 1, 12-19 from G Messi Arena in Gunma. Taguchi, Tiger Mask, Zane J will be teaming up to take on Great Bash Heel and Masatori Yasuda. Second match of the night, you got Wato, Shomakato, and Yano, along with Yo, taking on Bishamon, Oleg Boltin, and Tatsuya Matsumoto. Third match of the night, El Desperado, Katsuyori Murashima, and Kukai, who is back, will be taking on the House of Torture's Doki, Sho, and Yujiro. Team 100, along with Umino and Uemura, take on the House of Torture team Evil, Narita, Sonata, and Kanemaru. Fifth match of the night, Geto, Shingo, Yota Tsuji, the unaffiliated War Dogs, will take on the United Empire's Callum Newman, Okan, and JAY. Semi-main event, TMDK's Hartley, Kosei, Oiwa, and ZSJ take on the Bullet Club War Dogs, Oscar, Ishimori, and Yuto Ice, along with Daiki Nagai. And then your main event, the first of 3 final singles matches in the year of 2025, Hiroshi Tanahashi will take on Hiromu Takahashi in special singles action.
Yeah, so interesting card here. We did know that Hiromu was lobbying for a match with Tanahashi. So here we go, and it should be a very interesting matchup, first time ever matchup, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Then following that, 2 days later on Sunday, 12/21 from Light Cube, Utsunomiya, I don't know how to pronounce that. We got Kukai and Matsumoto taking on House of Torture's Doki and Sho. There's a tag team match, second match of the night. Looks like you don't have that. Or is that listed? It's listed weird. I see what you've done here. Okay, we got Katsuyori Murashima and Zane J taking on Great Bash Heel's Togi Makabe and or the Great Bash Heel team of Makabe and Hanma. Following that, we've got Wato, Shomakato, Yano, and Yo taking on Team 100, as well as Yasuda and Tiger Mask. The next match, we've got Bishamon, Oleg Boltin, Umino, and Uemura taking on the House of Torture's Evil, Narita, Sonata, Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi. So they're really holding off on this Aaron Wolf, no previews for Aaron Wolf. This man's walking into the Dome. Following that, fifth match of the night, Daiki Nagai, Hiromu, and Shingo take on the United Empire's Cal Newman, Great Okan, and JAY. Semi-main event, TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Fujita, Oiwa, and ZSJ take on the Bullet Club War Dogs team of Oscar, Ishimori, Yuto Ice, and Yota Tsuji. And then and again, another person who is not on any of these previews, we do not have Takeshita. Obviously, you can't speak too much ill of that because he is involved in the Continental Classics, had some really good matches here the last few weeks, but nonetheless, not on the previews. Also, Okada, not on the previews, but not that we would expect that. The main event of that evening, you got Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on junior superstar El Desperado in the main event.
Yeah, so another interesting main event there, Tanahashi and Desperado, and I love Tanahashi's booking strategy here. Face all the juniors, close out the year strong, build up some wins going to Tokyo Dome.
Momentum.
Yeah,
he's got to get that World Tag League loss stink off of him, and what better way to do it than beating big names in small bodies. And then finally, the following night, so this is going to be next Monday?
Yes.
Yep. So we've got the final Road to Tokyo Dome show of the year. Night 3, Monday from Korakuen Hall. This is 3 days before Christmas. The show is going to open with El Phantasmo in a NJPW World Television Title Open Challenge. So he has a mystery partner. We do not know who it is. I hope it's TJP again. Following that, we have Bishamon, Oleg Boltin taking on Team 100 and Tiger Mask. Third match of the night, Wato, Umino, Yano, Yo, and Uemura take on the House of Torture team of Evil, Narita, Sonata, Kanemaru, and Taka and Yujiro. Fourth match of the night, Gedo, Hiromu, Shingo. They'll take on the United Empire's Callum Newman, Okan, and Jacob Austin Young. Fifth match of the night, so we got 3-way non-title tag team action as El Desperado and Kukai. They take on Daiki Nagai and El Desperado. Oh, wait, that doesn't make sense. Who is Daiki Nagai teaming up with? Is it Hiromu?
Hold on here.
Well, they will be taking on the House of Torture team of Doki and Sho. So,
it's supposed to be Kukai and Desperado, Daiki Nagai and Taiji Shimori against Sho and Doki.
That makes sense. Yeah, I couldn't remember. I'm trying to remember who he's even aligned with these days because the unaffiliated War Dogs thing is so confusing. But yeah, so it's going to be Nagai and Ishimori taking on House of Torture, Doki and Sho. Sixth match of the night, Oscar and Yuto Ice will team up with Yota Tsuji to take on the TMDK team of Hartley Jackson, Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. So the final, preview match for Tsuji going into the Tokyo Dome. And then the main event that evening will be Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Kosei Fujita. And we did have a question here. Less commission 7252. Should Tanahashi lose his final road to matches against Hiromu, Desperado, and or Kosei Fujita?
I don't know. I feel like he should win all of those. I mean, those guys are all juniors. I mean, unless you were actually going to try and do something with Hiromu and Desperado, which they've shown that they really don't want to outside of Tag League. I think, he should do a clean sweep, 3 in a row, end the Christmas cork and the snow falls after he hits a high fly flow on Fujita.
If I was going to have anybody beat him, it would be Kosei Fujita.
Yeah.
And that would only be if I was, committed to the Kosei Fujita rehabilitation tour, because this man had an incredible Best of the Super Junior final and tournament win. And then they've done fuck all with it for the rest of the year. And he's like a forgotten son, shout out to, Blake, what was it? Wesley Blake.
Yeah. Wesley Blake, Steve Macklin,
the Forgotten Sons. Throw Kosei Fujita in there. He was involved in one of those final 6-man tag team matches. I believe it was the final one where they sent off Okada on his way out. And a lot of that story did revolve around Fujita not picking up the win against Okada. Now he's got an opportunity for a final match against Tanahashi before he goes on to face Okada. I don't anticipate him winning, but if I were to do it, Fujita would be the guy. If we want to talk about, everyone's like, well, he should have faced one of these young guys and lost in his final match to send them off in the future. And they did they've already paid that off a bit with him and Tsuji back in
Gifu.
But in his final match in Korakuen, why not let little Kosei Fujita beat him? Like, why not? In fact, if Fujita beat him, I might even be a little bit more doubtful about the idea of him losing back-to-back matches on the way out. This isn't WWE. We're not going to have him job to raise Kid and then Gunther back-to-back, so he loses to Fujita. It gives me hope he might beat Okada.
Yeah, well, we'll see here. But yeah, I mean, I'm in favor of him. Just, going 3-0. Christmas cork and the snow falls on Tanahashi one last time.
With that all being said, that is going to close out the year. I did see Tanahashi is, in fact, going to finish the year with the most singles matches of his entire career outside of 1 year where he was a young lion. I think it was like 02. I'd have to check. I think he had like 66 and he's going to end with like 41 here. But with that being said, if you didn't see it, did it happen? If a tree falls in the forest, no one's around to hear it, blah, 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 that thing. If you look at Tanahashi's broadcast matches, the ones that made tape, this is by far and away the most active singles year that he's ever had on tape. And every single singles match that he had this year is on tape. And it's vastly more than any of his other, singles campaigns throughout his entire career. So that's kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah. Well, we also did get the final Wrestle Kingdom 20 card. We will do our official predictions in a couple weeks here with Chris Samsa, but we'll run through the card here. We did have lots of questions about the card. So we have the never openweight 6-man tag team title Rambo match with Master Wato, Toriano, and Yo defending a bunch of teams, and we know that Kaisi Takechi from DDT is going to be involved in the matchup as well. Then we have the IWGP Women's Title and NJPW Strong Women's Title match as Shuri faces off against Saya Kamatani. We will have the United Empire, Cal Newman, Great Khan, and Hinare with 2 mystery partners taking on David Finlay, Drill Maloney, Gabe Kidd, Hiromu, and Shingo. There will be the junior 4-way for the number 1 contendership as Taiji Ishimori, Ellis Brado, and Sho face Kosei Fujita in a 4-way. Then there will be the never openweight title match, Evil defending against Aaron Wolf. Semi-main event, double title match for the world title and the global title, Konosuke Takeshita against Yota Tsuji. And then the main event will be Tanahashi's retirement match as he faces the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada.
Well, we finally have confirmation on what's going on last, so no more need to talk about that unless people are going to ask us, was this the right way to go?
Well, we did have a bunch of questions here on the card. You have any thoughts before we jump into the questions?
No, go ahead. Let them rip.
So Def Franco 720 says, do you think it's a smart business decision to not have the junior heavyweight and IWGP tag champions be defended at a sold-out Wrestle Kingdom?
Maybe if you're just thinking in the short term of like, hey, how can we maximize revenue by getting something that might be a difference maker for these other shows? Potentially. I'm more of a vibes guy personally. I think that when you have a great show with great matches top to bottom that can then turn around and be used to feed into whatever future stories, because let's all face it, like historically 1-4 is the season ender for New Japan and 1-5 is the beginning of the new stories. And you got some carryover stories leading into the new year. I think that's a little sloppy. I much prefer for the new angles and programs to be established coming out of 1-4. And I think that that tends to serve people better, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's a weird call not to have those matches on there. You know, you're going to have so many eyeballs. You're going to have like over double the crowd than you did the previous year. Like, why would you not want to push all your titles, all your young guys? Like, why not have Doki defend? Why not have TMDK versus Knockout Brother? I think it's a missed opportunity to get these guys over in front of a bigger crowd, and maybe somebody who only came for Tanahashi can be like, oh, you know what? Those Knockout Brothers are pretty cool. Maybe I need to watch. Maybe I need to get my New Year's Dash ticket and see these guys and tune in. Oh, Doki, I know he's been a heel now, but he had this great match with Desperado and defended. Yeah, maybe I should watch, Fall more. And I think it's an easy way to get people locked into what's going on.
Yeah, and I mean, looking back, I don't want to be too critical about this, because I'm not opposed to the idea of the women being on the show. And I'm not, super opposed to the idea that, we've got AEW talent at the top of the card kind of helping to round things out. but I'm also not convinced that everything was sold basically based off the idea that Okada was the in fact dream opponent. I think it helped, but I don't think he's the only guy they could have done that with. I sort of think as long as it was anybody of true note, like the top 4 names that were kind of discussed, I think they probably would have sold out with any of them at this point. Mm-hmm. It makes me wonder, did they need to have Takeshita? I don't think Takeshita made a difference at all from a dollars and cents standpoint, from a drawing standpoint. I don't think he even registered. So I don't know if he even should have even gotten the title going into this dome, or should even really be involved when there are other guys that, like Goto. Goto was a huge business driver and difference maker this year. He probably should be involved in the title picture scene, honestly. I love that Stardom is having this renaissance year, and that Saya is, becoming this mainstream star, and they are, utilizing these New Japan women's titles in a meaningful way in a big show like this. But if you were really going to do this thing where you're like, hey, we're only going to have limited slots, so we need to put forth our best foot forward. I could be wrong here, but I don't know that. I love the synergy, but I don't know that those women made a difference to the bottom dollar of the show either. And yes, it's going to feed into what's going to happen with their sister promotion. They do have ownership over them, so that all makes sense. But I don't know if at the expense of your other young guys that should be pushed as top stars, that they shouldn't be highlighted on the show. And I'm not saying it has to be all of them, but the fact of the matter is you've got Oiwa left off, you got Zack left off, you got Goto left off, Uemura, Umino, and the Knockout Brothers. That's a lot of dudes.
Doki, I know we're not a fan of how this worked, Doki, but he's left off.
He's the champion.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense that you've got a 4-way for the number one. It almost makes me wonder, like, is he hurt? I know we've speculated about that before, but I'm like, why isn't, if he's the champion, why isn't he involved in the match? It's weird. That's one match where it's like, okay, I do understand that you want to have guys like Hiromu and like Desperado and Ishimori. Those are like tried and true names that they trust and believe in the junior division. You want to get them involved, but like, hey, let's up the ante. Let's put the junior tag or the junior champion in the fucking match instead of show. Like, what are we doing?
Makes no sense.
There's just some very perplexing decisions being made here. And I am excited about the show. I'm excited about what they're doing. I think business wise, there's a lot of great things, but when we have speculated in the past and been like, they really got to put forth their best foot forward. They have to have a killer show, and they have to really highlight the future generation. I don't know that they can effectively do that with this card. I'm not saying the show's going to be bad, but if you're judging it, there's 2 metrics that people are going to look at this. They're going people from the West who are going to say like, is this as good as some of the legendary card, because that's the metric that people that like to parachute in, they're going to say like, I loved this product for when it was like this in 2015, 16, 17, 18, whatever. Does this hold up to those? And I don't think it can, honestly, even if just because there's only 7 matches and on paper, there's not 4 matches there that are going to deliver, maybe 2, maybe 3 at most.
Yeah. The Rambo is not going to be, some great thing. The 10-man tag, I mean, they might do something interesting, but like that's not going to be like a blowaway match.
The only 3 matches that you can count on to potentially deliver are going to be the women's match and the semi and the main event. And you're kind of having to hope that the fans that are there are going to be, of those 50,000 plus, are they going to be into those particular women as stars? Are they going to be behind them? And are they going to get the time to deliver what they're capable of delivering? If not, then that's also probably going to be a bust as well. And then you kind of have to just count on the top 2 matches. And we already know that one is a Tanahashi send off. So that's all the feels, all the nostalgia, all the drama. This is something I'd speculated on a few weeks back where I said the way things were shaping up, it sounds like everything about like, how can you build excitement for the future? How can you build for the new generation? It's going to all fall on Tsuji's shoulders. that is a lot of fucking pressure. Like, because let's just think about a scenario where it's like Aaron Wolf doesn't deliver to his highest abilities. You know, the women's match, you know, has all these handicaps, doesn't deliver the way it's supposed to. And then you got these multi-man matches that just really aren't, you know, Wrestle Kingdom, Tokyo Dome worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Now we get to the semi-main event and you've got to like deliver the goods before Tanahashi says goodbye forever. And a lot of people are going to be, they're there for the Tanahashi match. They're not there for the Tsuji Takeshita match. So they're going to have to make believers out of people. Fuck, bro. They got a lot going. I know we're a couple weeks away from the official preview show, but like, I don't know, bro.
Yeah, they definitely made some intriguing choices here. We had a set of questions here about United Empire. Make way for Slide says, who do you think are the two X's for United Empire in the 5 vs. 5? Any chance that those wrestlers are debuting in NJPW or changing factions? Death Triangle 720, do you think after the War Dog unaffiliated versus UE match at Wrestle Kingdom from the Ashes, we see a fully new foreign faction in the process? And Let's Question 7252 says, who do you think will join UE? Do we get a Jake Lee return, but on the UE side, another new member, or maybe a shocking return of the Oswong?
I think that would be a little less than you know, I don't think people would be like thrilled if that's the surprise necessarily. People have been waiting for Jake Lee to come back, so it is always possible and on the table.
Yeah.
With the way the landscape has changed with Bullet Club, who knows if he fits into one of those two groups any longer. At this point, he feels like more of a House Torture guy, but do they need him? You know, like both, I don't think either team needs Jake Lee at this point. United Empire clearly is a team that could really use someone like him, regardless of what your personal feelings are, whether you're a fan of him or not. There's a lot of people who aren't. They need guys. So he's a guy that could potentially find new life and it be mutually beneficial. But I could see it being Knockout Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a great way to get them on the card, at least get them featured. But yeah, we've seen them not really be down with this whole unaffiliated thing. So it could be a way to, shake things up, get them in that faction, and have them feud against the rest of the War Dogs. My absolutely worst scenario is it being the Good Brothers.
Oh, no.
Like, they're going to be in Japan. Callum Newman's been doing the gun symbol.
Oh, I'm crying. I didn't think of that.
And I'm not even joking.
No, I know you're not.
That's a real possibility.
Oh, they'll take the paycheck.
Oh yeah. They'll throw up a crown instead of the Too Sweet. Oh man.
Oh boy. Well, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of like anybody new who it could be. I think I did see somebody in the Discord throwing out maybe Carl Fredericks as one of the guys.
I guess. I don't know. The way he left it, I don't feel like he'll ever come back, honestly. I'd be surprised.
Yeah. Next question here from Foster Disbelief. Over under on the Saya versus Shuri match, or are they going to give it the time it deserves?
Well, I guess that kind of depends on what sort of time you think it deserves, because this is a pairing that is capable of going 30 plus if needed. I know for a lot of title matches in Stardom, I think that like for their world title matches, I'm not an expert on Stardom, but I think 30 minutes is typically the time limit. But obviously the IWGP titles have a 60-minute time limit. That's what they're going to say. They're going to be like, they have a 60-minute time limit here. But they're capable of giving you a killer 20 to 30-minute match if that's what you want to get out of them. We've seen matches that are kind of, I don't know, man. I was wondering, because they were one of the 4 big matches that were at the press conferences and that were being, advertised initially. I was like, oh, they might give them time this year. And I still think they probably will give them a little bit more spotlight and a little bit more time than they traditionally have, especially with the reduced card like it is. But I'm still not convinced that they're giving them like as much time as some other major, especially considering like it's like the second or third match of the night. So it's on the bottom half of the card. It just, and that gauntlet is going to go a long time. I think the over under is like 14 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And yeah, with Saya Kamatani's, mainstream publicity, maybe that also lends into them potentially getting more time and figuring maybe more eyeballs will be on it because of her, and they can get some like news clippings or whatever. But yeah, I think if they get 14 minutes, that would be a solid amount.
I mean, I'm going to look at what the Wrestle Kingdom cards were last year. I felt like both women's matches got a decent amount, but if I recall,
I think it was like around 8 minutes.
Yeah, but I feel like Mercedes got time on 1-5.
Yeah, she probably did.
I'm going to look. We can continue. It doesn't matter.
So next question here from Ginger and Fringer says, with Zack and Oiwa challenging at New Year's Dash, is this going to be the first case of a guy who main evented the Dome not being on the card the following year?
For Wrestle Kingdom,
mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I should have looked. Yeah, so last year the IWGP women's match with the ladies from Joshi or from Joshi from Stardom, they got just over 8 minutes, and then the following night Mercedes and Mina got 14:06, and I'm sure that that's probably one of the longer singles matches for a women's match in New Japan proper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'd have to look it up, but as far as the whole Zack thing, yeah, I think that would be, it's at least since we've been doing it, like the first time that somebody who's main evented has not been on the card. I mean, Sonata has dropped a lot, but the year after he main evented, he still has some kind of position.
I mean, the only times that you could probably say that they were left off the card were times where guys main evented and then didn't return the following year.
Right, yeah.
Like when they made jumps like Kenny and Ospreay and Jay White and Okada, stuff like that, or Ibushi.
Right.
But guys that were in the main event from the year prior that were active, like, no. And I mean, at this point in time, it's not just the guys that were in the main event a year ago. It's also everybody that held the IWGP heavyweight title this year. Every single one of them is not on the card right now, except for Takeshita.
Yeah, and even people who have challenged, like Shota Umino challenged earlier in the year, he's not on it either.
The only one, David Finlay did challenge, and he's on the card in a multi-man. That's it. And then obviously, what's his face? Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Yeah. Next question here from Rambo, and he says, with the card and match order for Wrestle Kingdom announced, do you think NJPW is doing enough to position younger talent for success in the post Tanahashi era?
No, I don't. I mean, I thought I heard something weird. I think that there's hope that things are going to shift, move, in a positive direction moving into the new year as we create some power vacuums and things like that. But just based off the way they're using the talent on this card alone, and as important as this card is, I would have to say no.
Yeah, I think it goes back to your point of like it's all falling on Tsuji.
Shuri and Sari wrestled for the IWGP Women's title match this year at KOPW. That match got 14:56.
Okay.
So, and I feel like that was one of the longest singles women's matches in New Japan proper. Because like a lot of the matches that like Mayu and Mercedes have been longer, but most of those that were inside of a New Japan ring were like in America.
Right. Yeah.
None of the main evented or anything like here, at least domestically. So not that this one will either. So I think like 15 minutes is like I also wonder, I wanted to also mention this. Isn't it strange that match was pushed so heavily early on in the marketing, and then suddenly it's so far down on the card, and it makes me wonder, like, if Gato was like, no, I don't care what you promised them over there. Like, we're not doing it.
Maybe
they're gonna get 12 minutes and they're gonna like it.
Yeah. Rambos also asked, with both the G1 winner title challenge and now World Tag League title challenge being decoupled from Wrestle Kingdom, do you think this change to the familiar booking pattern is intended to be the new normal going forward, or just happenstance?
I think we have to make a decision right now, you and me, Jeremy, about what tickets we want to buy for January.
Why?
Because the person that we are working with to get our tickets is heading to the Corkin Hall box office as we speak. So I'm guessing maybe we should tell them Big Japan tickets for the evening of 1-2, and then what? Do you want to get Corkin tickets for 1-3 the next day?
For
All Japan?
Yeah, let's do that.
I'll let them know.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to be the new normal or not. I mean, we've already had now 2 years in a row, the world title not being the G1 winner, not getting their shot at Wrestle Kingdom. 2 years in a row with World Tag League. So yeah, maybe this is the start of a new pattern, and the tournament winners not being guaranteed a title match at a big show. Even like we're seeing, like, Super Juniors not always happening, at Dominion, something like that. So maybe this is the new normal of kind of making it unpredictable. I don't know.
What was the question?
What you start asking about? Is this the new normal with the title challengers, the tournament winners not getting their title matches at Wrestle Kingdom?
Potentially. I mean, we've seen shifts for how they handle, like the G1 winner coming out of the G1, and they've made some shifts to a few of these tournaments. So maybe that's okay to kind of keep things fresh. But like, I'm not necessarily in love with the idea that you do a big tournament and then right after the tournament's over, there's a title challenge, but it's down card and it's not like a major emphasis. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I personally I like the idea that you do World Tag League leading into the Tokyo Dome, but it's not one of the like opening matches or bottom of the card matches. It's something that is anticipated, hotly contested, given time, promoted well, and everyone is excited to see, and actually elevates the status of the titles. I mean, otherwise, why the fuck did we watch 17 nights of tag team wrestling?
Right.
And that's something I've had complaints about with other tournaments in the year where they've done similar things. Like and they have had success in the past where they turned around and had major Super Juniors, winner title matches at Dominion, or had Super Junior Tag League title challenges at like Power Struggle or KLPW or wherever it is that they do that. So I don't know. Is it okay if they go other routes with it and do fresh things? That's fine. But I'm a little bit of a traditionalist. I like to see people who win tournaments turn around and do meaningful things with those tournament wins in ways that we can all invest into.
Yeah, because I feel like, I'm totally in favor of, trying to do something different, but I feel like they're just trying to do swerves instead of doing something that really gets the tournament winner and the titles over. Next question from Les Commission 7252. Does the Wrestle Kingdom card look weak on paper visually in only 7 matches with no IWGP Junior and Tag Team Championship match? This looks like the weakest and lackluster card since the pandemic.
I just saw someone online say that they would like it. They would like it, the X and XX to be Jake Lee and Francesco Akira returning from injury. I think that is my optimum potential thing.
But would you need to put an X on Akira though? I mean, they unveiled Hanare. Like, why would they need to put Akira as a mystery guy?
Bro, how many things are we going to ask about why they do the things that they do? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, I think that the card right now is not the best it could be.
Yeah.
Also, episode 420. Why didn't you tell me ahead of time, bro? I would have come prepared.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, the card.
Keeping It Strong Style 420 means we just smoked your ass.
Yeah, I think the card does look weird on paper. I mean, you really need, obviously, Okada Tanahashi title match to really deliver. I think you need Saya and Shuri to deliver. You need this Aaron Wolf thing to not be a hot mess. The Junior 4-Way, I mean, if they let those guys go out there and like just fly around for like 15 minutes, like that could be fun. I don't know. So there's some potential here.
I'll put it simply, Jeremy. All right. Nobody wants to see a never 6-man tag team gauntlet, period. Right?
Yeah. It should have just been a regular Rambo. Winner gets a title shot.
Nobody's invested into this 4-way for a number one contender shot after they just pushed Doki to the moon through cheating means while he's having lackluster matches and defeats all the viable contenders so that there's nobody that can actually challenge him for the belt going into the Tokyo Dome. Like, what? They've devalued the entire junior division within just a couple months. They took all the great work that Desperado and Ichiban Sweet Boys did and they ruined it. So it's like, I don't know why the fuck that match is happening. And then you're having to bank on the idea, like you said, that House of Torture and Aaron Wolf isn't a shit show, that it delivers. And there's so many pit holes for that. The women's match could be phenomenal given this company's track record and the fact that generally speaking, the fans, the New Japan audience just is not invested in that talent because it's a totally different audience. I'm not convinced that that's going to deliver. And it's also an attraction match. It's not something that's been built on their show. There's literally no build. It's basically an exported match coming from their sister promotion that, the only really well-built match, the only one that has stakes and investments and intrigue in terms of like, what the fuck is happening here? What is, who's coming out? We don't know. It's the 10-man tag that got built up this week. They just started that feud this week, and it's like the most heated of all the feuds. And it's still, I don't know, maybe there will be some cool, implications coming out of it, but and then the main event, obviously Tanahashi and Okada, that's legendary and it's his send-off. So that just has to be great, but there's so much pressure on the semi-main event for the double titles. And then we're going to have the whole discussion again. All right. Now either Takeshita or Tsuji has both belts. What the fuck do we do with a 2-belt champion moving forward? And if it's Tsuji, did Tsuji deliver to the point where everyone is a believer in him now? And now we're going to have to bank on him as being the guy and we've entered a new era? Or is he going to be like facing the thing where it's like, he didn't get put over by any of the 5th generation dudes or whatever. And, he's having to like basically carve his own way out of this mess on his own. Or is it going to be Takeshita who's going to be splitting time between here and AEW and people are just gonna be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I feel like there's there are too many variables, so you're hoping for the best.
That's the problem. That's the difference. The best Wrestle Kingdoms, the best dome shows are shows where you're like, you know what? I don't know who's going to win these matches. I got ideas, but I know this match is going to be a banger. I know this match can be a banger. I know this match can be a banger. I know this match could be a banger. They got like 4 or 5 matches that could probably deliver to a high level right now. And they were well built and we're excited to see them. And instead they got a bunch of shit where it's like, how did we get this on the card?
Yeah.
What? It's attraction shit instead of like good, competent booking.
Right, dude. Why are we not having Doki versus Desperado rematch for the title here? Like,
when we walk out of the dome and it's a commercial success, but Tanahashi's gone, Okada is gone, the women are not coming back the next night. Who knows whether Aaron Wolf will be wrestling ever again after the Tokyo Dome.
Oh man, am I going to be rooting for Evil?
Is Takeshita? I think he signed a 1-year deal. Is this the end of his 1-year deal? Is he coming back after this is all said and done? I don't know. I know if I recall last year, they said his deal was a 1-year deal. Is this it? Is he wrapping up? I haven't heard anyone talk about that, but maybe that's the case. Are we stepping into an era where like all of the top matches, the 4 biggest matches that were promoted are 2 women from another company that are never coming back, Okada and Tanahashi, who are gone, Aaron Wolf, who is like an attraction who might not work out and then Evil, and then Tsuji and Takeshita might be gone. When that's all said and done, the only 2 guys that you can bank on being here the next day for sure and for the rest of the year are Tsuji and Evil. I love Tsuji and you know, Evil's got his time and place, but is this what we're hoping for when we talked about building for the future? Tsuji and Evil are your guys and maybe Aaron Wolf?
No.
Bro.
It's rough.
Come on, bro. And they got so many young guys that they had a year.
Yeah, like they could have done Umino versus Uemura. You could have had Vegeta challenging for the junior title. You could have done the TMDK versus Knockout Brothers match on the card. There's so much they could have done. Emily asks, do you think Takeshi will team with Yuki Ueno and Toei in the Never 6-Man Gauntlet? They're the KOD 6-man champs right now, or are they more likely to just put him with some random New Japan guys?
Bro, Vintage Puroresu just posted a video of Owen Hart doing a Baisaku knee in 1994. This shit rules. This dude was so good. You know, I don't watch DDT, so I couldn't tell you. But if he is a 6-man tag team champion over there, it would reason to, you know, assume that he might come in with his tag team championship partners and work the gauntlet. However, they had the champions from Dragon Gate in the junior tournament, and they had them teamed with other people in
separate blocks. Yeah, so
I don't know.
Who knows what they're doing? And she said Shota, ELP, and Yuya is one of the trios.
I would love that. I think that's a good idea, actually.
Yeah, I mean, get those guys on the
Emily
card.
happy.
Yeah. Then Death Triangle 720 says, do you think we get any surprises in the Rambo? Maybe from all promotions?
No, we don't have space for that, dude.
Yeah, we can't even get our own guys that need to be pushed on the card. Like, we don't. No Noah Trash, no Dragon Gate. Like,
the one surprise that maybe I'll give them a little bit of latitude to do just because it would get a pop is like, yeah, you can bring in Minoru Suzuki and have him team up with like Lance Archer and whoever the fuck, you know, just to have a little bit of the Kaze Ninare as he enters the ring, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the one dude where I'd be like, all right, I guess if you want to make some, I guess.
Yeah.
But this isn't your grandfather's Rambo. We don't have space for guys like Scott Norton and the great Kabuki. and Shiro Koshinaka to make their returns. Like, we don't have space for that shit. Like, Sho's got to get a payday. He's got a family to feed.
Yeah.
Chase Owens has got to go back to Texas. He's got to make a payday, bro. Like, come on.
All right. Well, that's all the questions on the Wrestle Kingdom card. And then one other off-topic questions here from our user Make Way for Slides. Says the likely mistranslated rumor that Tenzan may be retiring soon got me thinking about his career. He's not on par with Tanahashi, but he managed to find impressive success as both a tag team and singles wrestler. Any recommendations or favorite matches?
Well, I do think Tenzan is very shortly, due to retire. It wasn't a likely mistranslation. It was a mistranslation, and it was literally Dave. Did you see this?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, because what's been happening is Grok has been mistranslating Tanahashi's name to Tenzan's name. And so there's been so many tweets when it's like, yeah, Tenzan's 1-4 match is sold out. And then the latest one, yeah, Dave saw it and tweeted and was like, yes, Hiroshi Tenzan's also retiring at the Dome.
Tenzan's retiring at the Dome. He's not on the card, Dave. They think they're gonna set out a chair for him like he's a super strong machine, and he's gonna sit and preside over the show as he's gonna co-opt Tanahashi. He's gonna like lay claim to half that gate as well. Like, well, it was partially my retirement show as well. We sold out. Dog, you're not even on the card, bro. In terms of saying like not on par with Tanahashi, totally different styles of wrestler, but bro, like Tenzan was the fucking man. In the early 2000s, Tenzan was incredible. Some of my favorite Tenzan matches would probably be him and Tanahashi from the G1 finals in like 05, I think, or 04. I forget what year it is. That one's really incredible. There's a Goto bloodbath. When Goto had first returned from excursion, that's a number one contenders match. And it's sort of like the last time that Tenzan ever is really considered as like part of the title picture scene. And that's one that's well worth like checking out. That's kind of the match that like essentially like made Goto initially. I'm sure I can think up some other ones. Is there anything that comes to mind for you out the gate, Jeremy?
I know he had a couple matches with Kojima that were pretty good when they were feuding against each other. Yeah,
they have the legendary 1 hour draw, or it was supposed to be a 1 hour draw. It ends up not being a 1 hour draw, but it ends up being him dropping the title to Kojima. That one it's flawed, but it's definitely happening. I like the match that they had against one another. Their G1 final match is really, really good.
From 06.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think of other ones off the top of my head. He's got great matches with like him and Yuji Nagata have a really fantastic series. I already mentioned the 2001 Tag League finals with him and Tenkoji. Tenkoji have a long list of really fantastic matches across multiple promotions. There's a Tag League final from 08, them against Shuji Kondo and Suwama. That one's incredible. Honestly, what I would recommend, I mean, those are all really good recommendations. It's looking to me, I was trying to look at Cage Match to kind of just like get a gauge to see what they have listed, but it looks like, have you seen like when their scores just won't show up?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Oh, are the scores not showing up for you?
Yeah, same. Only it's only showing like Dave's star ratings.
So anything even though I'm trying to look at it, anything I'm trying to give you is like off the dome because the scores are not there. But it looks like some of the highest rated ones that Dave gave him are the matches with Kawada in All Japan. Those ones are fucking incredible. How could I forget Tenzan versus Jun Akiyama from the G1 final? Like, that's another thing too, is like Tenzan's one of the greatest G1 performers in the history of the tournament. And yeah, the final with Jun Akiyama from 03 is incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah. There's a phenomenal Tenzan versus Ishii match from Tenzan's last G1. And that one, they hit each other with like some really, really, really crazy headbutts. And Tenzan beats Ishii. It's like it's like the last hurrah victory he gets in that G1. Unless it was against Goto. But it was either Ishii or Goto. I feel like it was Ishii. It could have been Goto. Do you remember that one?
I don't, because I think that was before I don't think I watched every G1 match that year. That was before we started recording.
Let me see here. This is 2016. Tenzan beats Tomohiro Ishii, night one of the 2016 G1, 14 minutes and 08. Dave gave it 4 stars. And I think this is one of those ones where like he gave it 4 stars because it was probably a little bit better than that, but like it was too violent for his tastes.
Yeah.
And that one's really, really awesome. Also, he had some early title matches. The match with Hashimoto, I remember that one being pretty good. I think that might I don't know. But yeah, I would definitely say that Tenzan's a far cry from a guy who I would like. He's basically like in that period between Kensuke Sasaki and Tanahashi, that third generation dad's era. He's in his prime. He's probably the best guy. Mm. And you know what? He's not as well-rounded as Nagata, and he's not as good from that classic Puroresu aspect as Kojima. But of all of those guys, the person who was able to get fan support, serve in that underdog role, and work a modern style, he worked the most modern style of all those guys. He high-flyed, he worked fast-paced, he sold a lot, and did a lot of huge like he was the guy that threw bombs, like the power moves. Like Tenzan was fucking awesome, bro. Like it's hard. I know it doesn't sound like, if you've seen Tenzan since like 2016 or whatever, it's hard to imagine how good he was. And he's never had like the best look of any of those guys, but he was the dark ace. He was that generation's Chono or Riki Choshu or Naito or Nakamura. He was the guy who like, he wasn't the ace, but everyone kind of saw him as like, he's the guy that they loved. That was him.
Nice. Well, some good recommendations there. So check those out. And that's going to do it for the show. So next week, we'll be back to review the Road to Tokyo Dome and cover all its news. Remember, if you want to watch our show live or listen without ads, you can sign up at patreon.com/KI Strong Style. You can also make a donation by visiting socialsuplex.com/donate and click on the button under the Keeping It Strong Style logo. Make sure to connect with us on social media on X and Blue Sky. Follow us at KI Strong Style, at Social Suplex, at Jeremy L. Donovan, and at YB_Josh and Liger. On Facebook, follow us at facebook.com/Social Suplex. On Reddit, I'm the Pro Black Guy, just Keeping It Strong Style. On YouTube, we're at Social Suplex. Join our Social Suplex Discord server to interact with us and other wrestling fans. You can email me, Jeremy, at socialsuplex.com. And check out all the other shows that we have here on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. One Nation Radio with Rachel Adda and James Boyd. All Things Elite with Floyd and Austin. Imps, AW Adventure with the Implications Matthew Mayer. Wrestling Art Because Things, Tone Talk with Ali and Leah, and the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a rating and review, and we'll catch you next week on Keeping It Strong Style, the ace of podcasts.
Ichiban.
Thank you for listening to Keepin' It Strong Style. We'll see you next time.